right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing deltagreen tonight. We are continuing our campaign, What Lies We Tell. For those who watched the first, or the last episode, I should say, you might know what scenario we're using. And I'll reveal it now, because it's not like any of these are going to go read it. Long was just talking how he's never read like a Stephen King book and like, but all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, this is the From Dust scenario. It just came out a couple months ago. So for those of you who are Deltagreen fans, we're giving that a run. It kind of ties in with some of the larger themes that I think the campaign's going to be covering. But yeah, we ended on a touch of a cliffhanger that Long completely forgot about. Despite the fact that his character was in a little bit of peril, but he completely forgot it. So yeah.
Just push that memory away.
I like to forget it, so it surprises me again.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You just want to relive it in character. It's great.
The reveal was so good he needed it twice.
Is that what it is? Okay. Maybe it was just so shocking when it happened that he as a way to cope, he's blocked the memory. Okay. I think that makes sense. Ashley's got one of those cool Deltagreen shirts. My voice just cracked like crazy.
Ordered quick, got it already.
Yeah.
I think they went out of stock really fast, and they like have a bunch more on back order now. So, but it's pretty cool little, and like what does it say on the back again? Something about death.
Do you think about death?
Do you think about death? Oh my god! Like, oh god!
Oh my god!
Such we should a Lisa shirt.
We should. Oh my god! We should do like Deltagreen with Valley Girls. Like, oh my god!
Could you imagine
like the V cell? Let's go. Okay.
Wow.
That'd be so good. That'd be so good.
Oh my god. Varsity cheerleader outfits.
It would look strange on some of us. I don't know.
I want to see the boys in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have male cheerleader outfits.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But
I want to see y'all in skirts.
Valley Girls. I don't know. It's complicated.
I'm wearing a skirt right now, actually.
You wouldn't normally see our bottoms no matter what. So
I just want to know it's there.
Listen, if it means we're playing more Deltagreen, I would totally wear a Valley Girl cheerleader outfit. But fortunately, I don't have to do that, and because we're going to play it anyway. All right. That's how we're doing. Let's do a quick intro. Characters, remind everybody who are playing what our amazing agent names are, and then we'll dive back in. So Long, tell us who you're playing and what your agent's name is.
Agent Inferno here.
God damn it! You had 2 weeks to come up with something. Okay.
Oh, you wanted me to change it?
You didn't catch that. You didn't catch that.
I just want to
last time.
Remind you, when you talk to somebody, that's the name you're given for the rest of this campaign. Whenever you introduce yourself as, my name's Agent Inferno. Every character you talk to is like, did you say your name with Agent Inferno? Is that what, Inferno? Is that like a nickname?
But yeah, I'm an Italian. Got a family pizzeria in Jersey. From Jersey, so close to home. Sure.
And you were living briefly, or at least right now, with Marco, your brother. I forgot, is he older or younger brother?
He's my older brother.
Okay. I mean, he was until stuff happened at your apartment.
He's younger now?
No. I meant like he was your brother. Now he's just like a pulpy mess at the bottom of a bathtub. Next up, Melissa, tell us about the cleverly named Maggie and her clever agent name.
So the name of my character is Maggie Eberly. And at a time that I was not looking at my character name, and I was thinking about what my agent name should be, I thought, because in her backstory, she went to Texas A&M, that she would be Agent Aggie. And then it was later pointed out to me that, Aggie is just Maggie minus the M. So while I thought I had the high ground to join in the laughing at Agent Inferno, I realized that I did not much better myself. But yeah, Maggie is works for Khaki International. She's in the private sector, makes decent money, and has access to like funds and stuff like that. And she's from Texas.
Yeah, I see you're wearing despite the fact that you went to Texas A&M, you're wearing burnt orange UT colors. I don't think that any self-respecting Texas A&M Aggie would be wearing that orange-colored blazer that you're wearing.
I'm going with the chronically overdressed, over-maked up, over-jewelried Maggie Eberly is in the very fashionable at the time salmon color.
Salmon color?
It just doesn't show on Zoom. It
Sure.
comes a little more orange in Zoom than in person.
Looks like hook 'em horns to me. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry. It's like hook 'em horns. All right, let's get to the bottom row where we actually have people who know how to name their agent characters. Steven, tell us about your character and about your wonderful choice for an agent name.
All right. I am Declan G.W. Ellis. I am a historian, New York Times bestselling author, not full of myself at all because I deserve all the compliments I give myself. My agent name is Agent Michael King.
See, the thing is, Steven, is that I was thinking that I was going to continue the sort of theme of kind of like undercutting and mocking Declan and his lack of success, etc. But then you came up with an excellent agent name, and so now, for the time being, people are going to like your work. Hook. You're off the hook. People are going to respect your work. Oh, hey, is that
the critics are finally coming around?
Is that Declan Ellis? Oh my God, I read your book. It was so good. Storm Surge is amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it was a little
I don't know about that character you named Inferno. That was a weird choice.
It's a little strange. It's like, I don't understand why that guy didn't go help everybody else, though. That was kind of weird. You know, I don't know. But I mean, other than that, it was great, though. It was great. It was great. It's amazing.
Excuse me. I did help everyone in Storm Surge. I rewrote that part.
Did you? Perfect. Next up, we have another excellent agent name. We have Ashley. Ashley, tell us about your character and what we should call her.
So I'm playing Lisa Young. She survived our kind of funnel. She was originally an NPC, but now she's my character. She previously worked at Publix. Deltagreen greased the wheels, so now she's a program manager for FEMA. And she came up with on the fly Agent Blair Weaver.
Now, I don't know if you intentionally did this, but I thought maybe you were making a Facts of Life reference for Blair Warner, and I was like getting really excited, but
no. I was thinking more of like The Lies We Tell Weaver.
It's all right. No, totally. I get it.
Ooh, very nice.
I get it, Ashley.
Very nice.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both. There you go. Facts of Life. Okay. Oh my God, that's what we should do. We should do a Delta Green Facts of Life crossover where Mrs. Garrett, Tony, where Mrs. Garrett is your handler.
Hey, Ashley, you know the voice.
And all of the four Facts of Life women are the agents. Blair. Oh God.
I could probably do that voice.
I know you could. You and Jeff could do a voice.
We're just gonna have like a 2-player co-op game. Old lady.
I just love Charlotte Ray. Charlotte Ray is the one. I think it was Charlotte Ray. Charlotte Ray is the one who played Mrs. Garrett. Just like she had like the most wonderful like facial expression and demeanor whenever something was crazy. Her eyes would just sort of like roll back. Her eyelids wouldn't quite work, and she'd just be like, it almost looked like she's having like a seizure of some kind, but like funny. So it was a weird moment. Rip. Okay. Anyhow, you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So nearly 2 years have passed since the events in Hypoluxo, Florida that comprised our prologue. In that time, Declan G.W. Ellis, he used elements from his experience to write a bestseller, another bestseller, in fact, called Storm Surge, as we've mentioned. And he started doing the interview circuits. And we saw him last time around on Regis and Kelly, where he was getting interviewed by both Regis and Kelly. And Merlin made a surprise appearance, much to the celebration of all. Luca, he was kind of still reeling a bit from the loss of his partner. I believe her name was Stephanie or Samantha. She's dead, Sam. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, okay.
And let's see, you relocated to New York. Where you're living with your brother, you're working on some mafia-related case, I think, in one of the boroughs. You had a bit of a panic attack, sort of, when you were kind of on stakeout and stuff as the rain was coming down. And that did not make your current or your new partners, Tobias and Davis, particularly happy. Lisa Young, as Ashley has mentioned, was a grocery store worker at Publix in Florida, but has changed jobs. And you're currently on a kind of a family vacation of sorts. You're visiting your Aunt Vivian on Long Island in Ronkonkoma, one of my favorite places to stay. Your daughter, Jamie, is in tow, of course. We also got to meet newcomer Maggie Eberly, who is on a girls' weekend. Is that accurate to say? Girls' weekend, is that right?
Yes.
Girls' weekend with, was it Chelsea? Agent
Yes.
Chelsea from our season 1 of Deltagreen. Boy, this duo really not a good sign. Oh my gosh. But you're on a girls' weekend in New York City. All of you had your days. Were interrupted by a cryptic text message, one that unfortunately signaled your activation by whatever clandestine organization. You don't know the phrase deltagreen, but we do. But your characters don't necessarily know that term. It's not something we throw around, but it's an organization that's essentially over the course of the past 2 years, one way or the other, has either been using your energy or your intelligence or your access or resources or something like that to help investigate a variety of these strange and unnatural cases. The text message, though, this time around, directed all of you to an empty Burger King in Brooklyn and a familiar face, Ronnie Lightside, another survivor of Hypoluxo. After some, awkward pleasantries, I suppose, you all were given over a bunch of files and a mission, an Operation Blister 2. You're supposed to investigate 3 missing children in Red Hook, or the Red Hook neighborhood of Brooklyn, and their potential connection to the S. Garrettson Mansion. It's a mansion that has popped up as a hot spot in the past with Deltagreen. In a mission from 1961 that's wholly redacted. He had no info for this on you, or no info about this for you. That was also called Blister. And the 3 children had kind of disappeared under some sort of strange conditions. So newly formed cell, of which you're going to have to identify the letter that you want to assign to yourselves. You remained together after Ronnie left. You reviewed the files, kind of went through a bunch of stuff, learned a little bit about the mansion, about the construction company, about the children. And then you all left at a very, very late hour. Maggie, you discovered that your friend hadn't returned to their hotel room. Declan, you discovered signs that someone might have been inside your room and on your computer. And poor Luca Dante, as he was walking into his shared apartment with his older brother, Marco. He saw that there were sort of dirty boots on the floor, heard the sound of shower going off. There was steam, moisture in the air, and the shower was going on for a very long period of time. It was also fairly late, and you also probably wanted to take your own shower. And at a certain point, you inquired, you look at the door was kind of cracked open. You stepped inside, and again, you called out your brother's name, called out Marco, and there was no real response as you did so. And then at a certain point, pulled back the curtain, the shower curtain, and there you saw in the middle of the shower in your own New York apartment, you saw in a sort of a smaller size, the bloated woman that you all had discovered in Hypoluxo. I need you to roll a SAN, Luca.
SAN, I got this. I do got this. 12 under 31.
Okay.
Nice.
You're looking as these tentacles begin to pull out, like just sort of siphon out of these long sutures and mouths, these tears in the flesh, and they start wafting up towards your face. You stumble back for a moment. You bang your head on the wall. You bump your hip on the sink. And as you look back in the direction of the shower, you see your brother. He is naked, and he's like, "What the fuck, Luca? Jesus, man, what do you want?"
Marco,
Get
hog in the water.
Get Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm taking a shower. What the hell's wrong with you? Get the fuck out, man.
My bad. You weren't responding.
To what? And also, do I have to? Get out of here. I'm not some, like, invalid old woman. I didn't fall and bang my hip or something.
Good to see you too. I'll be outside.
So you step on out. You look around. Everything's exactly as it was when you first came in here. There's a little bit of water on the ground. Some of the water from the shower has kind of spilled out. You see that you're kind of now creating a little bit of a track. You see your footprints on the floors, but otherwise, there's no one here. There's no sounds. Probably after midnight. Is there anything you want to do before you gonna crash for the night?
I'll just settle in, make sure all these documents are sort of hidden in a drawer.
Okay. Just to be clear, did Luca take them all? Or did you split them up?
Split them up, whoever kept whatever files they wanted.
Okay. All right.
To be fair, Lisa did not take any files with her.
Lisa, you make it back to Ronkonkoma, to your Aunt Viv's home. You push through into the house. It's a split level, if you recall, brick on the bottom level, and you can see that it's very, very quiet when you first walk in. Dark, no one's up. There's a light or two. You can see that there's a plate on the on the countertop, and there's like a kind of a dangle light over top of it. It's the only thing kind of given. So you're kind of only thing given any kind of light in the room, and you're kind of bumping around here and there. What would you want to do when you get home?
Lisa would ignore the plate and she'd actually go upstairs to find Jamie just because she knows that she has nightmares sometime.
Okay.
And just check on her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an awareness test or alertness test as you start climbing up. You can take plus 20 on this. So you start climbing up these carpeted stairs. Older, it's a very narrow staircase. Large steps here and there, kind of bumping into things. Everything's very, very dark. And
the plus 20 I do pass.
When you get to the top of the landing, there's a light on up there. It looks like somebody had left a light on, and you can see staring at you is your mother. Specifically your mother's face, as there on the wall of the landing is a large photograph of Elizabeth Young, who passed down in Hypoluxo, and she's staring with an almost eerie looking smile, because all you really remember was a constant state of disapproval of her over the last several years, ever since Jamie came into the picture. But there she is, a little bit younger, probably in her 30s or so, you would say, and she's got a smile on her face. It's just her, not you, not your father. And she's just kind of staring at you. The frame is a little bit ajar, a little bit crooked. And as you take a step, you hear like a little creak in the wood. And then as you try to be a little bit more careful not to make too much noise, you hear sobbing. But it's not coming from the room that you're sharing with Jamie. It's coming from the other room across the hall. Doors closed, just a little bit of a light on underneath it. And it's where Aunt Viv would be staying.
She would go check out the crying. She'd do a soft knock on the door, and then open it.
So you open the door
as it's kind of cracked. Aunt Viv,
and you hear like a quick shuffling, and oh, are you finally back?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I lost track of time. I hope it was Jamie. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
I didn't even know that you knew anyone here.
I didn't either, but I guess they're from work. They work with FEMA, and I just got caught up.
Work's not going to interfere with tomorrow, right?
It shouldn't. What was on the docket again for tomorrow?
She kind of looks at you at this point. Her face, you can tell she's been crying, a little bit of red, and the sclera of her eyes kind of puffy, and she kind of looks both angry and hurt at the same time. And for a moment, like there's your mother again.
Mm-hmm.
It's your mom's birthday. We were going to spend the day together. You forgot. You're here for half a day, and you've already forgotten. No, that's fine.
The disappointment that is Lisa Young continues. Good night, Aunt Viv. And she just kind of like pinches the bridge of her nose. I can't impress Mom. I can't do you either. What was I thinking? And
she won't respond. If you verbalize any of that, she'll just roll over, reach up, and like pull on this little lampshade, and the room will get dark. You go.
She'll quietly shut the door. And at this point, she's got some frustration tears, and
Sure.
she's kind of like wiping those away, and she's gonna go into the room and check on Jamie.
Fast asleep. When you step in, just utterly fast asleep. It's very dark in here, but you can hear her breathing. You guys, it's like a twin bed kind of deal in here. No issue. She seems to be sleeping just fine.
And then instead of getting ready to go to bed, she'll go downstairs to pick at that plate of food and then do any dishes or anything else that needs to be done as quietly as she can.
Yeah, you go downstairs. The plate of food is just a couple cookies that they left for you. Apparently they made some, and there's a little note, and it's written in Jamie's handwriting, which is not the best, as she's still working on that a bit. But it just says, "We made cookies," and there's some spelling errors. And then it says, "Where were you?" And then it says, "Cody called." And there's no dishes to be cleaned. Everything's cleaned up in here. There's just this plate here of cookies.
She's gonna go then step out to the backyard and pull out her phone and check out and find my reply to Cody.
It's super late at this point. It's past midnight, probably 1 o'clock in the morning or so.
Yeah.
And you can see there's a whole mess load of text messages. But like the most recent one was just like, "All right, well, good night." And then you can see it says "love you," and then there's like a couple of emojis and whatever.
Yeah, and she'll quickly draft like a text message of like, "Hey, sorry, it's just been such a busy day. Love you too. Have a great night. I'll text you in the morning."
Okay. And as you start to go back inside, you feel your phone vibrate a bit, and he has already responded. And it's just like this, just little like "good night," and that's it.
Yeah, and she'll send like one of those like heart emojis back and then just leave it at that.
And then you hear your phone buzz again, and then he kind of does the same thing back. Get the feeling he doesn't like to be, he likes to be the last person to send the message.
Yeah, and at that, Lisa's just kind of like, okay, and then just puts her phone away.
All right. So after that, we'll say, unless there's anything anybody wanted to do, the rest of the night passes. Did anybody actually burn any willpower? I don't think so. We didn't really do anything too stressful, right? All right. So then we'll just say the night passes just fine. Morning comes. It is a Friday morning, August 19th. I think everybody but Lisa has some files. Luca, it's a work day for you. Maggie and Lisa, you're on vacation. Declan, you've got some signings or some reading, something like that is probably on the agenda or whatever. But otherwise, you also have this case thing that deltagreen has given you all. So I'll turn it over to you guys. What do you do in the morning? What's the plan? How do you guys connect with each other? How do you guys kind of investigate? How do you balance your day? That kind of thing.
It's a regular day for me. I'll head into the office, do whatever paperwork I need to do. And as it gets less busy, I'll start looking up these names, start using the computers and stuff here for investigation onto the deltagreen cases.
Okay.
Some of these connections that are written here.
All right. Sounds good. Your arrival at work the next day, there is a little bit of tension. you arrive, like there's a meeting going on. You can see Tobias and Davis through like a window into the conference room. You can see there's a couple other folks. They look at you and they kind of look away. No one really motions you to come inside, and you sit down at your desk, wherever it is you are in the bullpen, and you start working away here and there. When you say those names, what names are you looking into?
The associates from the construction on the mansion. So I'll look in more into those.
Okay.
So it's like ones with criminal history.
Okay, fair enough. So there were a handful that had criminal history. And I would say you can, if you want, you can roll like a criminology. You can roll, well, actually, what are your stats? What's your stats in?
Criminology is 70.
70. Okay, yeah, you don't have to roll anything. You're fine. This is easy enough for you to do. So just to kind of go back through it, there were a few different names from the list of from that Bloomfeld Associates, which is a subcontracting company that worked for like the larger company that now owns the site. They're renovating the Garretson mansion and they're making it into condominiums. And so there's this group of subcontractors. It's led by a guy named Bloomfeld. But there were about 6 or 7 different folks on the list that had some kind of connections. So the ones there, I would say the one that probably seems most serious to you, Luca, is you start digging into a Mark Garrity. And you can see that he was convicted I would say about 6 years ago at this point, maybe a little longer, of manslaughter because of his brothers. His little brother, his younger brother Simon, apparently died, and it seems as though Mark was responsible. So that's probably the one that would catch your attention the most. It's the most violent crime of all the others, and you can very easily get access to like some of the investigative files. It's not like immediate because you're not necessarily like you have to kind of requisition some things, but it's not something that would be too difficult for you. One thing you do know is that at some point, like your stuff is monitored, like what you check in and what you check out is monitored. So at some point it might pop up like, why are you looking into this guy? Why is this important? But from what you can tell, he did 5 years for it. So he actually was convicted. He went to Otisville Correctional Facility, and you kind of get into his prison file, like his actual correctional file, and he was a model prisoner. In fact, like there was never a single issue whatsoever with him. While he was in Otisville, he actually got his degree in electrical engineering. So he was like very busy. No one has anything bad to say about him. Has a note from the warden, guards, etc. He was always like about as good as can be. He was there very young, and so like his time there, he's 29 now, and so he's been out for a couple of years. Specifically, what happened, at least according to the court records, is that he was drunk, and him and his brother kind of got in a bit of a tussle. As you have a brother yourself, it's probably something that you've roughhoused before. But part of that tussle, he hit his brother Simon in the face. His brother fell down. His head hit this dining room table, and it killed him. It was a total accident. Everyone in his family, other people that were there at the party, all testified that it was an accident. There was never any maliciousness. There was never any real contention in the court case either. It was kind of like not so much a plea deal, but just everyone kind of knew that this was an accident. He's going to pay, but we're not going to charge it. There was never an intent to charge him with anything more than manslaughter. So that would be the one that probably catches your eye the most. Other ones you see are, you saw a couple other assaults or drunken disorderlies. There's Arturo Dominguez. He had a drunken disorderly about 10 years ago, paid a fine. There was a Peter Platt. Again, about 9-10 years ago, he actually was arrested for assault. And one thing that probably would catch your attention that's kind of odd is that he never actually did any time. It was 18 months of community service. despite everything. So it was kind of a peculiar situation there, and it just doesn't quite line up with what you would have expected with his conviction. Then, other than that, there were a couple other people who had like family connections to crimes. So there was a Margaret, and you can see in her file, which you kind of come up with, like she has a nickname, Peggy. Her dad might have had connections with the Genovese crime family. Doesn't seem that she has any. She has no criminal record. Doesn't seem like she has any connections. You go through some of your files. You've been working on some mafia cases, drug-related mafia cases. Not necessarily this crime family, but there's nothing that you can find that suggests that her record is anything but clean. And then another man, Henry Webbett, was arrested for assault, and his charges were dropped. So those are probably the ones I think would probably catch you the most as you're looking through them.
I would pull those records then, get a just deeper look into that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll say you kind of have access to essentially all of their arrest files, their case files, things like that. Anything that isn't sealed. The only thing you wouldn't be able to get access to is, and you would need to do some creative creative leveraging, is that there is a Charlotte Dunbar who has under 18 convictions. From deltagreen that it was for possession, but when you start accessing this kind of stuff in your own, you don't actually even get that information. Like, it's sealed. Like, it's just a sealed record, but somehow Ronnie Lightside got like access to her sealed documents.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right, so we'll cycle then down to Declan. Declan, you wake up, and if I recall, Merlin is with your wife.
With my wife, yes.
Yeah, as Isabella. So that's just you. What's on Declan's agenda for today?
I probably have a book signing later, like we talked about, but it's a Friday, so it would be towards the afternoon or evening, because work day. So I think one of Declan's processes when he's writing one of his nonfiction books is to go to the site and visualize what happens. Like, he likes to go to archaeological sites, things like that, and he's going to try and translate that to his investigation here. And he'd like to go to one of the places where the children actually went missing. And I think he would start with the most recent one with Sandra Cohen, where she disappeared from her fenced-in backyard. Gotcha.
Okay. That sounds good. Would you contact anybody? I'm assuming that you all maybe found, like, I'm just going to presume this kind of stuff. We don't need to necessarily role play it all out, but like, I'm presuming you left ways for each of you to contact each other.
However we do contact each other, I would tell everyone, and then whoever wants to join absolutely could.
Okay.
Luca's
busy. So Luca's busy in the morning. We've already he's at the office, kind of doing some research. Declan's going to go check out one of these sites. So Maggie, you're going to go with him?
Yes, I will.
Maggie, you wake up and you wake up to the smell of sex and candy as you look over and you see a totally wrecked, like she had one hell of a night, Chelsea, as she's sprawled out on her bed. You can see that she didn't change out of her club clothes. She also, you can tell that there is a wastebasket near her bed on the opposite side of you that somehow didn't wake you up. It is not empty, and she seems to be struggling, but she's asleep right now.
So Maggie is going to kind of go over to, kind of the little setup in the room where it's got, kind of like, single serve coffee maker kind of a thing.
Sure.
And so she'll go over and, kind of be a good buddy. And so she'll, make a coffee for herself and she'll make a coffee for Chelsea.
Okay. Are you waking her up?
It's just there. Like if the smell wakes her up, fine, but not necessarily.
Okay. All right. While we think about that, Valdran, thank you very much for that raid. Appreciate it.
Welcome
very
in.
kind of you all. Hope you all had a good night with whatever you were playing. Thank you, whoever gave the shout out. We are playing Delta Green. We're about half an hour in. We're just kind of getting started on a new case, so it's a good time to come on over. So thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already gone and followed them, go follow them. If you're just coming over, consider giving us a follow if you want to stick around. All right. So do you want me to roll or do you want to wake her up? I can just roll to see if she wakes up.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, she is dead asleep with a 92.
Okay.
She is her alertness is next to that's a 92.
Okay.
So yeah.
So she'll just kind of make
you
the coffee.
You make some noise too, like you knock some stuff over and it just doesn't even wake her up.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's honestly, she's kind of a little bit relieved that she doesn't necessarily have to kind of come up with a lie on the spot and do all of that. So she will leave her a note that'll just say, hope you had fun. Text me later. Work calls.
No.
So she'll kind of
say I met a guy.
Okay.
And so a little bit of kind of my idea is that like one of the reasons that Chelsea and Maggie are such good friends is that like Chelsea's dad actually sort of got Maggie this position.
Okay.
So she'll get a little bit of, kind of weird contract jobs, sort of come up out of nowhere kind of stuff. Not that it won't be problematic, but, she's hoping that maybe she'll understand. She won't. She's still going to be pissed, but,
Okay. I mean, she might not wake up till the afternoon, so like you might have some time here.
Exactly. And then she'll send a text to her daughter, Morgan. So she'll just, send a quick text and just say, morning, lovely. Hope you have a good day. I think school will be back in. So like,
how old's Morgan?
She is.
How do you not remember? Look at her. She has to look it up. How do you know? What kind of mother are you? You don't even know your kid's age.
Because I did the dumb thing, forgetting that I'm really bad at math. I know she was born in 98, and this is
she's 13. Probably
yes,
13.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
So I will assume that Maggie pushed for her to have a phone over her ex's preference for her not to.
I am going to say,
a quick morning.
I'm going to say that you do in fact get a text back, and it's just going to be like, "Hey, mom, going to school. Love you. Bye." Like that's it. Which is not bad, honestly. Like if you think about it.
No, yep. She's definitely closer to her dad and her grandma than to me because I'm gone a lot. So that feels good. Good start to the day.
All right, so Maggie, Declan, you two are heading over to the site of Sandra Cohen's disappearance. Just to remind folks, Sandra Cohen, age 2, Caucasian, she, like Stephen already said, was sort of disappeared from a fenced-in backyard. She's in Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn. So Carroll Gardens is sort of like northwesternly-ish. It's not too far from the water. It's kind of it's a ways from the Garretson mansion. I think I might have given you guys the map in here. Let me double check where you can actually see the Brooklyn map. I will show it to you.
Oh, and like how close they are to each other.
Yeah, so you would be able to kind of track where everything was. So there's the Elders abduction, there's the Cohen abduction, the Strauch abduction, and then their Garretson mansion. All of that kind of shows up on kind of like your Google Maps, so to speak. And you can see that the Cohen one is like the one that's probably the most westernly, not too far away from some of the ports, relatively speaking. When we say fenced in backyard, just remember that we're in Brooklyn. We're not like in upstate New York. There's not these huge, yards or anything like that. And so you can kind of see that it's not too far away from the marketplace where Frankie Elders was abducted, but it is quite a ways away from the Garretson mansion. So we'll say the two of you arrive mid-morning. By the time you guys get there, meet up separately. I'm not really going to we don't need to worry about delineating travel, like how you get there. I don't really care so much. But you get there and you can see that the home it's not empty. It does appear that there is a vehicle parked out front. So it does seem to suggest someone's there. The neighborhood, it's probably past school time. Like school collection has already kind of happened. It's mid-morning, so there is kind of a little bit of a deflation in terms of activity, but it's certainly not an extremely quiet neighborhood. So how do you two want to go about handling this?
I think first of all, I would just start wandering over to the yard, and just trying to visualize, like going through the files, reading if there are any witness statements about like timelines, things like that. I don't think I would knock on the door right away. I would just try to like imagine what happened, basically go through it.
So we'll picture then, like in your car still parked. You found a place to park. A lot of the, whoever here was kind of off to work. Maybe you got lucky and you found a spot a couple houses down or maybe half a block away. You're in your car, you got your coffee, you're reading through everything. And you're just kind of going through the file once more. So just to review it, it was back in May 4th. It was the most recent one that the operation, the deltagreen operation flagged. The mother, Elizabeth Cohen, she's mid-20s. She was watching the child from the kitchen window. So like when you're looking now at like in your rear view mirror and you're looking at the house and you're looking at some of the other houses nearby, there's windows on the front side of the home, but you assume they go into some kind of living room, and likely the kitchen's probably on the back side of the house. It was around 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:29 p.m. is when the call to the police came in, and it was from the mother. And she was claiming that the daughter had gone missing and that she didn't know how, like meaning not so much that she vanished, but that she just didn't necessarily know how. She was very frantic on the phone. You also notice in the reports that it got pretty, she got even more frantic when the cops arrived, to the point where she got violent and she struck one of the officers. She got arrested. She was held. She wasn't charged. They ended up not charging her, but she was actually violent at the scene. So you also notice that in the actual events that there was a police search that was done. They found an uncovered standpipe in this high grass near the back of the yard. The yard wasn't in great condition. Like she wasn't like constantly mowing it or keeping it clean. And the curious thing is that there were these fresh metal scrapes that were on the cover, but the cover was indicated to be very, very heavy. And that apparently could have been moved recently.
And I have Googled standpipe, so I now know what to picture when I think about that.
Witnesses, you definitely see that they did kind of talk to some of the neighbors and people in the area. And from what you could tell, there were no eyewitnesses. No one could confirm nor deny that Sandra Cohen was in the backyard. No one noticed anybody of any people who weren't supposed to be in that neighborhood, or in the area at that time. There was nothing to kind of go on in that regard. The mother is known to have a temper. Like that was the thing that kind of came up every now and then, that she would yell, and like some neighbors sometimes would hear her yelling. But no one ever suggested anything beyond just her being loud. Like there was never any suspicion that she might be like abusing Sandra or anything like that. The main suspect that the police had when this was a fairly active case was the father, Emil, because he's a wanted felon, and he's a suspect at large, but he doesn't live in the house. And no one's seen him. There was no testimony from anybody in the neighborhood that they've seen Emil around the house at this time.
So getting out and just walking towards the yard, would I see any like noticeable blind spots from the kitchen window looking at the yard? I'm imagining the yard's like 200 square feet, like 10 by 20 or something.
Yeah, it's not very, it's like longer than it is wide, right? And
yeah.
See, what kind of stats, you guys? Take a look at what you have.
Not
alertness is 26.
There is 40.
Are you there? Are we going to say Maggie arrives? Declan gets out of the car. We see Maggie in her overdressed, burnt Texas orange blazer. I'm sorry, salmon blazer, walking up. Large earrings dangling. You two can do your pleasantries in a moment. But as you two start looking around, give us an alertness plus 20, Declan, or if you have search, you have search at 41. You know what? I'll just give it to you with search 41. You can see that there's definitely a blind spot. Like you can tell, like the window of the kitchen as you're looking back there now, you can see that it's open. You can see there's a woman inside. There looks to be a small like dining nook, and then like she's like profiled to you, so she's like sipping coffee, and you can see she's like reading. It looks like her phone or a tablet or something like that. And you can see the kitchen behind it, very small kitchen. There's not a whole lot in the yard itself. There's like a barbecue. There looks to be a couple like toys and things here and there that have been pushed off to the side. It's still not well kept. The grass is quite high here. It's not a very nice yard. But you could probably guess that if she wasn't looking directly out the window, if she was like turned off to the side like she is now, it's possible she wouldn't have seen.
Well, Maggie, should we go talk to the mother, see what she knows?
Morning. Yeah, what's the story? You working on another book, or are you somebody other than you?
Well, I would hate to give away our secrets to more Russian nationals like Franco, so I'll just go with my agent name, I believe. Why don't you just follow my lead? And I open the gate to the yard and start walking up to the front door.
Okay.
And Maggie is just so amused at this. She's just like,
our characters never get along,
After
but we
you.
always pair up.
I think it makes sense because you guys don't get along in real life either. So,
oh,
right? That's what I hear.
untruths.
Okay, so you knock on the door. There's a momentary delay, and then it opens up, and you can see a kind of a tired-looking woman. She doesn't look like she's recently been crying or anything like that, but you can see like heavy bags under her eyes. You certainly smell the coffee on her, like as she opens up. She's not. You don't notice that she's dressed like for work or anything. She's coming in and like she hasn't really kind of gotten ready for the day. And then she looks at you all. She's like, "Can I help you? Is there something you
Miss
need?"
Cohen, I apologize for bothering you so early. My name is Michael King. This is my associate, Miss Aggie, and we are private investigators. I was hoping if I could ask you some questions about your daughter.
Private. I told
Yes.
you guys I couldn't afford your
No.
services.
I actually work for a different client. They also have a missing child, and we're curious if the cases might be related. So if I could just talk with you, if we can find that child, maybe we can find yours as well. No cost to you. We just want to run down every lead we can.
No cost to you, ma'am.
Sure. Yeah. You got to persuade a 70. That was a really convincing argument. She seems a little bit out of it. Yeah. So she starts kind of like doing she has like a robe on. She starts kind of buttoning up. Yeah. Come on in. Come on in.
Thank you so much.
It was Mr. King, Miss Aggie.
Mr. King and Miss Aggie, yes.
Oh my God. I was starting to think no one cared anymore. It hasn't even been that long. I know like they say first 24 hours or 72 hours. I know it's been like a couple months, but like no one cares anymore. I can't even get the cops to like respond to any of my calls anymore. And like my work doesn't seem to care anymore. It's just, I can't tell you how much. It's just to know that someone still cares is not that I want another kid to go missing, but I'm sorry. I'm just really tired.
No, of course. I can't imagine the pain that you're going through, but rest assured that we will do everything we can to find your daughter. If we are able to find her, we will.
I appreciate it. Come sit. Can I get you something to drink? I made coffee.
No, just sit down. Do you want another mug of coffee? I'll get it for you. I just sit down. I know it's just you've been through a lot.
The kitchen is just through there. Mugs are the cabinet.
We're private investigators. She'll be able to find it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about a thing. If we could just go over the timeline with you, just if you could break down what happened that day,
Okay.
what the police did to search, just any details you can remember, anything especially that stands out that just bothers you about that day?
I mean, I went through this like over and over again. All right. So it was like just past lunchtime. I was home. I was cleaning up. We had lunch, and she was outside. She was playing out back. And I mean, you can see Miss Ag. If you look out the window, she was back there.
Yes, ma'am, I can see.
And I was cleaning up, washing dishes. I don't have a dishwasher. It doesn't work. And I have a deadbeat husband, and I don't have any money, and I had to do it. So I was washing myself, and I was listening to the radio. I'm not going to lie. I was listening to the radio, and I was looking. She was there. Everything was fine. Like the weather was fine. Like everything was great. Like I didn't know, and then I think it was like just past 2 where I looked out and she was gone. And I went out, I opened the door, I called out for her, Sandy, where are you, Sandy? And she's supposed to respond. Sometimes she plays little games, we hide, but I didn't see her. She didn't have a play date or anything. It was just her. She's playing with her toys. And I was looking around and I couldn't see her. And my heart began to palpitate. It started beating really fast. So I got very nervous and I looked around. I hopped up the fence to look at the other neighbors and didn't see her over there. I went out back. I went out front. I kept calling. I mean, I ran up and down. I knocked on the neighbors' doors. Up and down everywhere on the block, just calling. And I don't know, that might have been 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. And then I came back and I called. And the cops came
that perfectly, exactly the way you're supposed to.
And that's what I mean, what else was I supposed to do? You look for the kid, and she's a kid. She's 2. It's not like she's going to get very far. Like, I mean,
you said that you often play like hide and seek games. Did she ever have like a specific spot that she liked to hide, a go-to spot or anything like that?
Yeah, but it wasn't a good one. Like it was out back.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, like there was a big plant we had out back, and she would just hide behind. It was one of the ferns. It's dead now, but like she would hide behind it, and she would, I could see her, but she thought I couldn't, but I could see her.
She just like turned the other way, and she couldn't see you, so thought you couldn't see her.
Something like that. Like I think she just thought if she looked through like the slots in the ferns and could see me, that I couldn't see her. She is 2. She's 2. She is 2. And she wasn't there. And the cops came.
I'm sure you understand how a 2-year-old can be upset, and they're not capable of thinking clearly and logically. Is there any chance that maybe she was in trouble for something that day? Maybe she was put in timeout and she may want to have like wandered away out of frustration?
I mean, she was trying. I caught her trying to like, and I was like, a cat. Is she like one of the strays? And I do not want pets, and I'm allergic to cats. Like my eyes will puff up and I won't be able to see, and then I'll sneeze for days. And she was like, I saw her kind of the last couple of days, like trying to grab it. And I might have yelled at her, but she's 2. She's not going to remember when she's older, like what happens when you're 2.
No, of course not. So when she was out back, you were sneezing and dealing with allergies as well at the time?
No, not really. Because like she didn't bring the cat inside. It was just sort of like I saw it lurking a couple of times, and so I just made sure I'd be like, "Don't you dare, Sandy!" And I don't, she didn't. Like,
have you seen that cat since?
No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, there's cats all over the place and dogs. There's people get animals and then they let them free because they're terrible owners. Like if you're gonna take on an animal, like it's a responsibility, right? So, but no.
And I apologize for the questions that may seem meaningless, but it just helps us build a full picture of that day.
I understand. It's fine. If you're gonna help, I'll answer anything.
Is there anything that just stood out to you about that day? Maybe someone walking around the neighborhood that you'd never seen before, or just something that felt wrong beforehand?
I didn't care for the police's reaction. They one of them said I heard them they questioned my fitness. They said what kind, I heard it. They didn't say it directly to me, but they said it to each other. That's why I got upset. But I was, there's a lot of things going on that day, and I was already upset, and things got a little out of hand. And then they said that, I needed to calm down, that I was getting hysterical, and that just made me angrier. And no,
it's just the worst, isn't it? When just try to condescend to us that we don't know what's going on just because we have some tears and are understandably upset.
I mean, I guess the father's better. I don't see him anywhere, and they think he did. I don't think he did it, but
have you had any contact with him? Has he tried leaving messages or anything like that?
He hasn't really contacted me since she turned 1. Last time I saw him, it was her first birthday, and he was there, drunk as he always is, and he had a present, but you could tell he forgot. And so he stopped, and it was some cheap toy he got from a drugstore down the street. And that was that. That was the last time I saw him. He's wanted.
Has he ever threatened to take her from you? He wanted custody or anything like that?
It was just to get him to pay attention to her was a challenge. So the fact that they think he kidnapped her, he didn't want anything to do with her for the most part. So, no.
What about anyone else in the neighborhood? Are there any neighbors that take, that offer to babysit her or, anything like that?
Special interest.
I mean, no, I mean, the neighbors, they kind of watch her. Mark and Barbara, they're great though. I mean, they're a little older. They had kids. They're kind of like her, they kind of like her grandparents in a way, or aunt, uncle, but not really. But they would whenever I was at work, they would watch her. But they're as upset as anybody.
Did they see her at all that day?
No, they weren't even around. That day they had kind of gone out. They were doing a city trip. They do that every now and then, and they go in, they see a show or something, and that was their anniversary or something. So
okay, well, that's all the questions I have right now. Miss Aggie, do you have any follow-ups that you'd like to ask?
No. I think probably what I wanted to do is ask, and I know this is quite the request, but might it be possible if we take a look at her room?
Yeah. It's up there, second floor, first on the left.
And then after that, we'll get out of your hair. But before we leave, we'd also like to take a look at the backyard, if that's okay, where she was playing.
No, yeah, go right ahead. Just go right ahead.
Thank you so much. You've been so considerate. And you just said right back here, right? And I start walking towards the room.
Okay. We'll cut from there, and we'll come back to you guys in a bit. Let's check in with Lisa. Lisa, we never really checked in with you. The morning came. Definitely there's expectation. You can see on the faces of Viv and on Jamie that you're supposed to be doing family stuff today. When you wake up, maybe a little later than they do, as you didn't really go to bed till late, you can see Aunt Viv is drinking her coffee. They're eating, and they're talking about what they're going to make for breakfast and things like that, what they're going to do for the day. And you can hear Jamie's throwing out all of the generic tourist stuff, like Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, all that kind of good stuff. So and Aunt Viv is saying, yeah, we can do this, or we can do this. And, it's you can definitely tell that they're putting an itinerary together. And that's when you get a text on your phone. It's not from Cody, but it's from Declan, we'll say. And it's notifying that like they're going to this site, and like maybe they invite you, but they're just letting you know. So what's it look like for Lisa as she gets going on the day?
Lisa does spend some time with them, and probably around lunchtime she'll see if Jamie wants to go to like the local library, just to have a little bit of quiet cool down time from all the hustle and bustle of sightseeing and such, and give Aunt Viv a break so she can, because I imagine Aunt Viv's a bit of like a day drinker. And so whether she like goes home or
Small
wherever,
detail.
Dude, in my universe, any woman over 50 is a day drinker.
Yeah. So
good for them, for sure.
yeah, you do you, lady. So I don't know if like maybe she like wanted to like pop into a bar, and Lisa's like, well, Jamie and I can maybe be at this library, and then we'll meet up with you after.
Viv looks at you. She looks at you with, it's 10 a.m. I'm not going to a bar. I never get to see her.
At lunchtime is what I meant, like after spending the morning sightseeing.
All right. So if you're going to go, well, the thing is like you're in Ronkonkoma, and there's not a lot to do. I'm sorry for all the Ronkonkoma fans out there. I have no idea. This is where my uncle lives. So that's why I picked these places. There's not a ton to do here. There's plenty of stuff to do, like within relative driving distance. Like there's different places you could potentially go. And the big stuff, though, everything that Jamie is describing, she's throwing out Statue of Liberty. She's throwing at like Staten Island, and Viv rolls her eyes at Staten Island. Like, we're not going to Staten Island, Jamie. Staten Island is terrible. And she's like, oh, Empire State Building. All of that is in the city. That is not where you're at. And that is like a whole thing. Like, you're going into the city. You're going to be there all day. You're taking the LIR. You're hopping onto a couple different trains, and you're going downtown. So it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, so then Lisa will just tell them, she'll message Maggie and Declan back. Do you have commitments? I can assist this evening.
And so we'll say as Declan goes, as you open the door, you go out back and you feel your phone go off, and you look, message from Agent Weaver saying she has commitments. She'll join up with you that evening.
I would message back, message Aggie, I might have signing.
Yeah, and she did it like group message kind of thing. So
okay, all right. So we then see a montage of Lisa and Jamie and Viv waiting for the train, Ronkonkoma Station, getting on the LIR, heading west, hopping over this way, that. And it's this whole thing. And at first, it's very exciting. Jamie really likes the trains. But then after a while, it's really exhausting. And she's like, why does everything smell bad? Why is everything so sticky? Why is everything so crowded? And so you're getting a lot of those questions. But eventually we'll say, if you are really doing a bunch of that crazy tourist stuff, eventually we'll make it. And it's going to make for a very exhausting day, Lisa. Okay, let's kick over then to Luca.
You're muted,
so Luca,
Ashley.
Oh, sorry.
So I know that there was a kid. They went missing at where is it? Some sort of like shopping.
Atlantic Avenue Street Market.
Would that be within any facility where we're at, or no?
Not really. It's not in particularly close to where you're at.
You got to get back to Brooklyn to get back to where all the...
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you can try to make the case to do things
are
in
not
Brooklyn.
My thing, IRL or even in game. So
you could probably find some sightseeing things to do in Brooklyn if you
just love it. Every time I go to Google
direct
something,
that way.
Ashley just stops talking. Keep talking, Ashley. I'm looking it up.
I thought we were done.
We were, but Phil. Oh goodness. All right. That's fine. I mean, like you could. There's things you could potentially convince them to do. I'm looking it up now. Brooklyn Bridge Park, botanic gardens. There's stuff to do.
Yeah, there's a museum. Blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah,
It's New
blah.
York. There's a lot of museums. But there's things you can do.
There's a children's museum.
Okay.
There you go.
If you would like to try to steer Vivian and Jamie into doing things around Brooklyn instead of doing the more like obvious, top of the tier, like a 6-year-old would really enjoy this kind of stuff, then go ahead and give me a persuasion roll, and let me know how that goes.
Okay. My persuasion is 50.
Okay.
And I passed. I got a 29.
Okay. You manage, like, when you start talking about when you mention Brooklyn Bridge, you get Jamie, like, because she recognizes the name, so she's very excited about the Brooklyn Bridge. Vivian, on the other hand, kind of looks at you and she's just like, first you go out late at night with your work friends, apparently. Now we can't go to the Statue of Liberty for your daughter. We're going to a park near the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay. If that's the kind of mother you want to be, then that's the kind of mother you're going to be.
We have more days. We don't have to hit everything today.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you want to go on the weekend to some of these places, if you want to deal with the crowds, and some of them aren't even open on certain... No, that's fine. No, it's fine. Hey, okay,
No,
Jamie, we're going to the Brooklyn Bridge. What's that?
And she's like, I'm not the native Vivian, so if you have objections, please, obviously you're making them known. Do you think today would be
We
the
had
best
an
day?
itinerary. We were going to go into the city today, but then you come down, and now you want to do something else. It's fine. As long as you're not going to cancel on dinner tonight.
Of course
Going
not.
to your mother's favorite restaurant, and we're going to have, we're going to honor happy birthday and whatnot. She would have been 50.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. Brooklyn Bridge it is then. Let's go.
And like Lisa does what she's always kind of done with her mom, where she just kind of shuts down.
Sure.
And even suggesting like a different location was like a big thing for her. And
Sure.
Mm.
I feel like
As
I'm
we
not going
all
to take
sit here
Lisa
and silently hate Aunt Vivian.
You thought you guys were done with the middle-aged Karen. Mm-mm.
oh no.
She's even stronger because she's fueled by self-righteousness.
And she's family.
And she's family, and her sister died, so she's got to do double duty. I feel like I'm gonna take out Lisa, not by the powers of the Cthulhu verse, but by Karen.
Yeah.
This is gonna be.
Or Ashley, either or.
Yeah, let's cut over to Luca. Luca, you've been looking at these files all morning. Is there something you want to follow up on? Is there somewhere you want to go? Is there something else you want to look into? So we'll say like most of the morning has passed at this point. You spent the day on the computer doing research, digging into files, getting background checks as best you can on some folks. What is it you're doing? What's next for Luca?
Yeah, I want to look into the renovations. So like, is this spot construction's complete? If the abductions are like in relevant spots that the construction wants to take place as well.
Okay. So if you're digging into that, like the construction is definitely not complete. Construction is still ongoing. It's kind of been a nightmare, and it's taken a long time for the project to go on. So from what you can tell, you do a quick couple of calls. Maybe somebody in some of the civic buildings and such. Like you're a DE agent. It's not hard for you to kind of get some of this basic info. And some of it is just kind of looking up permits and things like that, see what the companies have for it. But from what you can tell, it's still going on. Bloomfeld Associates is still on site. The subcontracting group is still working. You do have the address, 124 Buckingham Road. It's in Flatbush. And you know that they're actively working. Like they're on site today.
Then I would like to, late in the afternoon, even head over, investigate the place a bit.
Okay. And we'll say that is exactly what you do. Get in your car and you head on over. I forgot to actually look up where a DEA site is, but we'll just say it's within driving distance for you. But yeah, we'll say you get there early afternoon. You can see when you arrive, it is a kind of a federal style house. It's 4 stories tall. You can tell that it's also boxed in on most of the sides. You kind of peeking down some of the alleyways, it looks like there might be an open lot behind it. But otherwise, you can see that there's new apartment buildings. And it definitely, in its current state, certainly you can tell some of the, you can see some of the older architecture, and it looks like they're trying in some ways to maintain that, like that kind of authenticity. But there's all these different newer and more recently renovated apartment buildings nearby. You can tell that there are signs and scaffolding and all sorts of things. You see a banner with Bloomfeld Associates. You can see that there are several work trucks out in front, and you can see that there are kind of people coming and going. You wind down the window, you can hear the sounds of saws kind of going off, people working here and there. It's definitely an active construction site.
Does the timing line up that when they started construction, maybe the disappearance were happening as well? Or what kind of timeline that was?
From what you can tell, the construction has been going on for much longer, because the disappearances were only the last couple of months. The earliest disappearance was I want to say March, and of the 3 that you were asked to look into, and the construction's been going on for I think like 2 calendar years or something like that. It's a massive renovation. They're kind of converting what looks like an old school mansion to like new school apartments and condominiums.
And I'm trying to get a deeper understanding of how, if this site is connected, or just like the disappearances are just happening around here.
Tell me how you would like to go about discovering that.
All right, yeah, okay. I want to match up the things found or noticed in the disappearances and just investigate this site, see if there's anything off.
Okay. Are you getting out? Are you walking around? Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out, walk around.
Okay. Are you going to try to get onto the site itself? Like,
yeah, get on the site. Like,
okay. I mean, at a certain point, when you kind of walk down the street, you get out, you start walking up the steps. You can see a man in his, probably put him late 40s, maybe early 50s, Caucasian guy. He's got a little bit of extra weight on his neck. He got what looks like a gigantic like Dunkin' Donuts thing. It looks like he's been sipping some coffee here and there, and he's got a phone. He sees you coming up and say, hey guy, can I help you? You need something?
Yeah, you're allowing visitors on site.
Visitors? Are you a buyer or something?
Potentially.
Oh, really? Okay. Hey, honey, I gotta call you back. Okay, I gotta call you back. Okay. And so she kind of hangs his phone up. So hey, how's it going? What your name is? And he kind of extends his hand.
You call me Alexi.
Alexi? Okay. Nice to meet you, Alexi. I gotta warn you, I'm not a salesman. You can call me Eddie Bloomfeld. Be careful. I mean, I can show you around if you want, or I can get one of my guys to show you around. But it's not really showtime. We have some of the units are done. A lot of them are intact. We didn't get notice that anyone was coming by. Like no one actually told us there's going to be any folks that were looking. So it's a little messy in there. It's a little messy.
It's perfectly understandable. I'll just have a small look around.
I'm gonna need you 1 second. And he kind of calls it, hey, Maxie! Yeah, Maxie, grab me one of the helmets. And you can see, just don't go in there yet. Don't go in there yet. And you see a guy kind of come running up, late 20s, 30s or so. He kind of got this sort of a kind of a grin on his face, kind of hands you over this like white hat, this white like hard hat, basically construction hat. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and wear that if you liabilities and whatnot. Like I wouldn't want any of the potential investors or buyers, whatever. Actually, you know what, Maxie? Would you mind giving Mr. Alexi here just kind of look around, kind of show him around, show him some of the units if you can. That would be great. And the guy's, oh yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, Eddie, I got this, no problem, absolutely. And he's like, and so the other guy's, all right, you just gotta let me know if you need anything. I got a situation I gotta deal with, but I'll be around. Just come grab me if you need me. All right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take your silence as everything's good. So I'm gonna get on it. And so he kind of starts walking away. And so the young guy, Max, all right. So yeah, you wanna you're an investor or something? That's great. That's great. Yeah. You're looking to buy? Okay. Sure. Is there like anything in particular? There's like a size. We got some of the. Some of the units are done. We've got, let's see. We got some on the ground floor. We got 10. We got 2-bedroom. It's in a den. So if you needed a 3-bedroom or something, how is it like a family? Do you need it for a family? Is
small, small family, child or two.
A child or two? Like, you don't know how many kids you have? God,
we're trying.
Listen, Mr. Alexi Inferno, how many children do you have? Anonymous gifter, by the way. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. How many kids you have?
I got one on the way. One right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's great. Sure. Yeah. The son, daughter. What do you got?
Yeah, I've got a son.
Son, oh my gosh, my wife, she's due soon. What are we, second trimester? Like, it's gonna be a couple months still. First kid. I am extremely excited. We're gonna be surprised though. We don't want to know. We're saying, plugging our ears and covering our eyes. Just don't want to know anything about what it might be. So, how old's Luca again?
He's 30, early 30s.
Okay. Okay. So you've got one on the way, and then you're married. Okay. So yeah, I can show you around. See, we've got all right. So we've got unit 10, ground floor, 2-bedroom den. I think. Let's see what else is done on the second floor. Do you want a ground floor? Is that what you're looking for? Ground floor, second floor.
Any floor works. If the place is nice, we'll take it. Any
floor works. Are you new to New York?
Yeah, I've been in Jersey, but it's sort of the same, right?
Okay, sure. We do have a 3-bedroom on the second floor. Sure. No problem. And he starts kind of leading you inside, and you can see that there's a ton of other workers here and there. You can see some of them are like carrying what looks like, like studding for walls. You can see some are kind of carrying what looks like these basically doing drywall here and there. Others are kind of working on some kind of feeding various electrical wiring and whatnot through some incomplete walls every now and then. He kind of grins and kind of calls out a name or two, waves at people here and there, and he kind of leans over like, well, I mean, we're on the ground floor, so we'll just go ahead and we'll take a look, and here you go. And you go inside, and you're on the ground floor. It's like a 2-bedroom. Everything looks pretty nice in here. It looks like it doesn't look like they put like appliances or anything in yet. It looks ready for appliances, but you can tell like all the walls look great. There's definitely like an old school aesthetic. There's like this wainscoting that is still up there, and he kind of focuses on like that right there. Oh, that's been part of the pain in the ass because that is original there, man. That is original stuff. Obviously we're going to put in fresh, brand new appliances, etc. It's going to be great and beautiful, but you're getting modern day furnishings, modern day upgrades, but you're getting that kind of old school, that antique style design. You're not going to find this anyway. You're not going to find this on this block. I'll tell you that. You're not going to find. We've been in some of the other buildings here and there, and they just kind of went full on modern, just full on modern right now. But here, you can see this is the kind of place. This is the kind of place I would love get my kid in.
Yeah, I quite like it, but looking out the window, maybe something higher. No, I'm connecting here. I was looking at the missing case. Maybe the 3rd floor.
3rd floor. And what's your psychology at?
mythology.
Yeah.
Is that a stat?
Or
Let me see.
sorry, human. Sorry, we're playing Deltagreen, not Call of Cthulhu. What's your human?
61.
You notice a hesitation. Like you see him just kind of almost like it's like a very subtle kind of wince when you mention the third floor. And he kind of quickly goes over it. He's just like, yeah. We got a couple of units up there. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be great for your fam. One's a studio. That's probably not good. You probably want your privacy. And the other one's a 1-bedroom. I don't know if they'd be good for you. I mean, there's a couple others that aren't complete. There's 38. That's a 3-bedroom. 31. That's a 2-bedroom. 36. We're still working on. That's a 1-bedroom. So.
Oh, I'd still love to take a look if I can show me up there.
Yeah, sure. And so he starts, he's like, all right, yeah, fine. And so you guys head back out. You kind of start going up, and you see someone else coming down. He's like, hey, Peggy. And he's like, hey, Maxie, how's it going? And then a few people are like, who's this guy going around? Like, who's this guy? You hear like the conversations kind of happening in the background here and there. And you come up to the 3rd floor, and you can see that there are 2 rooms up here that are kind of like the doors are closed on them. You see Unit 32, Unit 35, both of them have the doors closed. There's 3 other units. No doors are hung. You can see that there's all manner of like activity going on, like it's still being worked at. So like I said, 3-bedroom in here, and he starts leading you into one of the places that actually has work being actively done. And we'll continue with that in a moment. Let's kick back for a bit over to Declan and Maggie. And also quickly say a thank you to chat. I'm seeing we got a hype train going. Thank you so much. Sorry I'm not keeping up with it. I got to do a bunch of New York accents. But thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate it. So awesome.
Got a bunch of anonymous subs and bits and more subs and cool stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Seriously. And bits, keep track of those because we are using them. I can't remember. We're using 10 plus 10% plus 20% whenever you got to do a roll.
Nice.
Not
so I think over
sanity.
here, I think are we splitting up? Is Maggie going upstairs and
You went
Declan is
upstairs
going
and
to the back?
Declan went out back. Yeah.
I was going to say we do both one after the other, but I don't care if we split up.
That's fine.
Okay.
We can say you guys kind of do them together. Okay, we'll start with the bedroom. Let's make that nice and fast. You go up to the girls' bedroom. Everything is. It looks like nothing has. It might have been cleaned, but it's not pristine. You can see that it still has like some things that have been knocked over on the shelves are still kind of knocked over on the shelf. But you see, it's a very small bedroom. It's not very large. But for a 2-year-old, like you can see that it's plenty of size. But there's a very small bed. It's kind of got the guardrails on it and everything still. You can see that there are a couple shelves here and there where you can see there's books that have been stacked up, various other like toys. Some of them look like they've kind of been covered in dust. It looks like she might not have been here all that often, but otherwise it looks first glance like any kid's room. Mostly decorated probably by a parent more than it is by a 2-year-old. What would you guys like to do?
Declan is very much the Fox Mulder type where he wants to believe and he like reads up about all the mythology and stuff like that. Okay. And he's going to get a little obsessed about the cat thing. So he wants to start looking for like cat hair or any sign that like a cat has ever visited the baby. I don't know.
The baby? Okay.
No, the child.
No. Give me a search roll. I do want to search this. I do want to roll this time though. So give me a search roll, but I will give you, let's say plus 20 on it. Because you're taking your time and you're not rushed here, but let's go ahead and give me a plus 20. And
that is a lolly and an 8. So just an 8 under 61 with the 20.
Okay, fantastic. You don't find any cat hair necessarily. You do notice that there, like as you're looking around, it's very stuffy in here, very hot. You kind of open the window, you do the classic push up. It's a little stuck here and there, but you do see there's like some scrapes on the on the windowsill that might be like cat claws or something like that. You don't see any fur. You don't see any hair. It's also been a couple months. So it's possible it's been cleaned up, and you do know that the police did come through here and likely did a forensic sweep. But that is probably the only thing you've noticed. In terms of like kind of like forensic, sorry, I don't know, my brain stopped working for a second. In terms of like forensic evidence to suggest there might have been an animal up or near here. Maggie, what are you doing?
Aggie?
Maggie's looking for artwork. So, kind of wanting to see, sort of how did little, I'm sorry, Susie?
Sandra. Sandy.
Yeah. How did little Sandy see the world? So, like, what kind of drawings does she have about?
That's not going to take any sort of specific role, as there's a lot of drawings, and by drawings, like they're crayon drawings here and there. In some cases, it's like finger paint smudging and stuff like that, hanging from the walls. You can see your classic, like, here's the house, there's mommy. You don't really see many daddies, but if you kind of flip through some of the older ones, there's like much cruder, younger drawings. Like, it does look like there might have been like a parent, like two parents here and there. You definitely see one for like Auntie Barbara and Uncle Mark and stuff and like you can tell that they have like gray or white in their hair. And I would say, what's your search at?
Oh,
Maggie?
I believe it's 40. Give me a second. Yeah, 40.
Yeah. One of the things you notice, especially with Declan moving around, he's kind of obsessed with this cat stuff. He's looking and stuff, that you do notice that there are a couple drawings of, I mean, they're crude as hell, like, but you presume it's a cat. It's a kid's drawing, so who the hell knows? It looks like a raisin with a tail. So like it's there's something in it.
That's a cat.
Yeah. And so that's what you would probably find.
And as she's doing this, assuming that that mom followed us, she'll just kind of have a running commentary of like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, this must be the neighbors. Oh, look, that's adorable. Oh, well, yeah, you were talking about a cat there, weren't you? That definitely looks like that cat there. And she's kind of saying that toward Declan a little bit. About kind of the drawings of the cat. And are there any drawings that look like the backyard or look like some other
a pipe?
Yeah, I mean, like there's definitely some, and that's where the cat ones are. Like with the grass is up, you can see like this, like these rapid, really hard scrapings of a green crayon or a colored pencil or a marker. And you can see that's where like and there's not a ton of them. Like it's every now and then you see one, but there's not that many. But you definitely see like the high grass. It's not a photorealistic drawing.
Of course,
it's a
not.
2-year-old. So, yeah.
But there's nothing that looks like some other amorphous blob or some other.
No. Yeah, I mean, there's the sun, which is a weird shape. Sometimes it's not entirely circular, but other than that, it's fine.
And then are there any like a basket for clothes or anything?
There's a hamper. It looks like it's empty currently. There's some clothes that are washed in it. Yeah, everything likely got washed, or some stuff might have gotten bagged by the forensics, but there's still clothes around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know it must be difficult to kind of show us.
She didn't follow you guys
here.
up. She was waiting downstairs in the living room.
And she'll sort of say
you.
that. And she didn't come with us.
Okay.
All right.
You didn't realize
Backyard?
that? You've been talking to her this whole time? You didn't know she wasn't here?
I could have sworn I heard footsteps behind me. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the backyard. And then once we get out of earshot of the mom, I would turn to Aggie, and with the cat, with the phases of the moons, it's two options: either a shapeshifter or a familiar.
Well, I mean, I definitely do want to take a look at that standpipe and see where that might lead to, where it might connect to, and maybe get the city plans for that, see what that looks like. But she kind of looks at the weeds a little bit, and she's kind of looking at like how tall a 2-year-old would have been walking around here and how tall the grass is. She's like, taking big steps through the grass.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you know exactly where to go look, because based from the information that you have from the deltagreen file, you find the standpipe pretty easily. Maggie, you can see that there is a very heavy looking cover right on top of the pipe that when you go to move, what's Maggie's strength?
65.
Yeah, like you can move it. It's fine. But you can tell it's very heavy. Like you can do it, but it's not like something you could just easily nudge. But you actually have to put some effort into doing it. And you would probably peg it at least 70 pounds or so, maybe more. Maybe 100 even. And like it's not the type of thing that a kid's gonna go and push. Like she's 2 years old, she's not gonna be able to do it. And you do notice that there was a notification in the file of like fresh scrapes, and you can see those as well. They're not as fresh, obviously, because it's been a couple months, but you can see the scrapes themselves. Doesn't look like there's been anything more recent. You have photos in the file, and when you match up the photos that you have from the deltagreen file to what you're looking at, you can see the same patterns, same scrapings here and there, but you don't notice anything new has been made.
Did we make more scrapes just now, like trying to open it?
No.
And now that we're looking at the scrapes, kind of in real life, what was sort of the spacing of the scrapes? Since we're talking about a cat now, like what it like?
So you removed it with care, right? You can see that more than likely, if you had kind of removed it in a haphazard way, or if maybe you weren't as strong, 65 is pretty good strength. If you're a little bit weaker, maybe you might have had a little bit more trouble, and that might have like dragged it across some of the lining or the frame, and that might have caused the scrapes, because that's what it looks like. It looks like it's got, it's like it's scraped as someone was trying to open it, but they might not have been as strong, or they might have done it quickly, or they might not have done it as carefully.
Gotcha. Okay.
What do we see when we look down it?
Well, you get hit with a smell, that's for sure, as you now have access to the sewer, and you do see that it is an accessible line down into the sewer itself. From what you can tell, the police did actually go in a little bit, and there was essentially a couple sewer leads and stuff. And it didn't necessarily like they couldn't go in and like explore deeply. Like it was blocked off. It got too small at a certain point, but like it kind of feeds down. Like you can kind of hop down just a few feet or so, but it's not like you can kind of crawl through it like you're a Ninja Turtle or something like that.
I'll let Maggie do the climbing down. I would look signing. I don't want to smell bad later.
Do I look like I'm dressed to be mucking around in the sewer?
I have fans, and they would remember if I smell like a sewer. It would blow our cover.
Because clearly investigating the unnatural is the only reason why you might smell like shit. Is there a way to investigate this without actually getting
you can
into the sewer?
You can just look down. If you have a flashlight on you, look down. That's fine. So you both have pretty good search, so it's not an issue. You notice that there are 9 small sewer leads down here that are like in each one of them. When I say they're about 22 inches or so, which is inaccessible for you all. Like you're much too big. Toddler, possibly. It's that small, but it's not like the size of something that a person can actually kind of climb through them or anything like that.
Well, before we start traipsing around underground sewers, perhaps we try to find a map, maybe with the city utilities, something that we can... We don't even know if this is connected to the other two.
Yeah, it's such a nice thing when you throw an idea out there and somebody gives your idea back to you 10 minutes later as if it's their idea. That's always so enjoyable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say that?
When we were upstairs in the room, I said that very thing.
I thought you were talking to the mother, but you were facing a wall, so I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so are you guys done at the house? Is there anything more that you wanted to do at this house, or are you
I
going to
think
leave?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we'll say that the two of you say your goodbyes. Elizabeth Cohen is, like she gives you her contact info. She writes it all down. Like when you walk back in, she has everything written down. Like she's got her cell phone number. She has her work number. She has her email. She has her backup email, like her work email. She's got it all here. And she's just like desperate. And you can smell that she's cleaned up a bit. She actually looks like she's dressed for work. And you kind of, she doesn't force you guys to stay or anything like that, but she's just begging you all to keep her in the loop,
Thank you. Thank you very much
And
for all your time.
Yeah, I'd give her the best assurances I can.
Okay. Let's check in with Lisa. At this point, you're getting another communication from Maggie and Declan. It's, we'll say, middle of the afternoon. It's like 3, 4 o'clock, maybe starting to veer into late afternoon. You have been wandering around for the past couple hours, Brooklyn Bridge Park, taking photos here and there, playing around. Jamie's it's been a decent day in terms of weather. It's late August, and usually that's a pretty summery, muggy, humid, hot time, but the weather has kind of been being polite to you, plus you're getting a little bit of a breeze. But we'll say at a certain point, after the family time has been spent, you are once more contacted as they're wherever it is they're going next, and we'll say they can figure that out while we're talking. They kind of inform you, like you can see a hit goes out to everybody else. You also maybe see Luca. Would you have updated everybody saying that you went to the construction site?
Yeah, of course.
And you get another one of those things. So you're seeing all the other people on this team, this new form cell, are doing things active, and they're going places, they're investigating. Meanwhile, you're playing with your daughter and your aunt. And this is your first active case.
Yeah. And Lisa does have like major guilt about it. And
Sure.
she's just, what time was our reservation for dinner? It was 6, right?
6.
Okay. I'm not sure how far it is from here. Do we need to start heading on over?
Let's see if we take that green. And she starts doing some calculations. What is it, 4? Yeah, we can go over now.
Okay. And that's what Lisa does, is she goes through, because she's not intending to sleep tonight. She's gonna do whatever she needs to this evening, pop some energy drinks, whatever, and work through the night.
Sorry to do this to you, Ashley, but as you and your like if you're
Lisa
not working on the
is struggling
case,
with the balances of deltagreen in real life.
If you're not working on the case, we're gonna say you and Viv and Jamie, you get back in. You get a couple text messages every now and then from Cody, just checking in. Like send me some pictures. How's everything going? I miss you guys so much. Da 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 da. It's like super clingy, annoying stuff.
Yeah, Lisa is so unbelievably overwhelmed. Like trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that wrong? Was that not clingy? That sounded like
no,
maybe that was wholesome and nice. It felt clingy to me.
Lisa's feelings towards Cody is that it's clingy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well intentioned, but she's a bit overwhelmed.
So you begin heading to the restaurant. Ashley, I'm going to task you with looking up a nice restaurant in Long Island near Ronkonkoma. It doesn't have to be in Ronkonkoma, near enough to it. Somewhere out in Long Island. And that's going to be your mom's favorite restaurant, as your mother and Vivian, they grew up here. Like this is where they're from. I'm sorry. Like I based a lot of this off of my own family. I'm sorry.
No,
That's just what it is. But you can look one up. So let's kick then back over to Luca. Luca, you've been on the site. He's been moving around the 3rd floor. You've gone in and you've seen some of the units. You notice that like a lot of the units themselves, like the ones that are in they're still kind of under construction. There's still drywall that's not being hung. Some of the walls are exposed. But at a certain point, he kind of looks at you and he's like, and he kind of like lets out a sigh, and he opens the door and he kind of pushes open into unit 35. And he's like, and this piece I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I'm gonna have to put $1 in the jar when I get home. Anyhow, okay. So as you can see, this one, like I said, is way too small for a family of your size. Like 600 square foot studio. Like this is like single, maybe a couple's apartment, something like that. But yeah, it's we got double paned, energy efficient windows. Everything looks great. We got space for a stove. Again, appliances aren't in yet. Bathroom's ready for a sink. We've done all the plumbing's there. We got a really good guy. So we're ready for sink, shower, toilet, all that stuff's ready. But the hookups aren't. They're ready. We just haven't obviously put anything in. But you can see like over here, we tore down like all the walls down to the studs. We rebuilt everything. Everything's fresh wiring, rewired everything, reframed everything. So you don't got to worry about like, old pipes breaking down on you. You don't got to worry about like old wiring kind of sparking out in any particular way. Reframed everything. We opened it up. This used to be much smaller. I don't know if it was a closet or if it was an office or something like that. So we made it a little bit bigger.
While he's doing his spiel,
yeah.
Is there a reason he was hesitant about this room? Like, is it really that different from the other ones?
It looks fine. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. Looks like everything else you've seen. Like it's nice. It's clean. It's got that kind of old school feel. It's got some of like these, it's got some of the decorations, the molding, the wood, the trim, the wainscoting, stuff like that. Like from, like that's kind of got that antique feel to it. But everything else looks kind of new otherwise.
Take a deeper look in. Like, yeah, maybe my brother would like this place. He's a single guy.
Oh yeah. Are you looking for him?
Yeah, I might tell him about this place.
Yeah. I mean, great. That'd be great. I'm just a contractor. I just, I'm not really a sales guy. I'm just sort of showing you around. I mean, I can answer any questions you want about construction. If you're worried at all, like we got everything's on the up and up. Permits are great. Eddie doesn't cut corners anywhere. He's a really good guy.
This is my place you're remodeling. You got other locations you're thinking of?
Oh no, I'm sure Eddie's got something in the works, of course. Like he's probably got other jobs or whatever it might be. But no, this has been the focus for a while. It's a really big job. It's taking a couple of years. We still got a lot to do. So, and hopefully, we don't have any delays like we had in here. While you're in here, so you've been in here for a couple minutes, and he's been talking. He's been kind of giving you the spiel. Go ahead. And sorry, I'm just looking up something really fast. Scroll. Oh my god.
Keep scrolling.
What's your POW score?
My POW?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's my worst one. I have a 9.
Okay.
Which is 45.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Okay. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, hopefully, if they all go according to some of the other ones, like we'll be out of here, we'll hit our marks, everything will be fine. But if it goes like this one, I'll tell you, man, you ever just been like, I don't know, what do you do for a living there? I'm sorry, I should have asked. What do you do, Alexi? Is it okay if I call you Alexi?
Of course, yes. Everyone calls me that. But I'm still a banker.
You're a banker. Oh, okay. You ever get one of those? You make a lot of money. You could probably get a couple of these things. And he looks at you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was that rude? Should I not have talked about money? I apologize.
No,
don't
you're
tell
right.
Eddie I said that. Don't tell Eddie I said that. I'm sorry.
Put a good word for it. You've been great.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. So yeah. Anyhow, you just ever have like one of those days, or like you ever have like a client, or maybe like you took a look at. I don't know anything about accounting. I'm not great with money, but like let's just say you got your account, and like this one's all fine, but then this other one, like all the numbers, they just don't add up, right? So you're a numbers guy, right? You're good with numbers, right?
Yeah. What are you going on about?
Oh, I'm just saying, like this one was just an absolute pain in the ass. Like this one here, like someone. I'm not going to say who, but someone decided it would be fun maybe to just kind of like mess up my measurements, gave them over to Lisa. She cut them up. She cut up all the drywall. I come back in. When we're going to install, and the cuts didn't fit. And so it's like and I knew I like triple checked. I don't make mistakes, right? So, and anyhow, I mean, it all worked out in the end, but it's just, man, it was just one of those days, like you get like the cuts were all, like the numbers were off, the cuts were off, and then like someone was screwing with my power tools or something, or we had a short or whatever it might have been, and yeah. I don't know, like half of the freaking power tools kind of just went haywire here and there, and like I lost a couple blades that day. I mean, insurance covered it. Eddie's good about that. Like I say, he doesn't cut any corners or anything like that, but man, it was annoying. So
that was
I hate this room. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to be rude. I mean, you don't want this anyway. It's a stupid. I mean, your brother, we have other units, like, your brother might like one of them.
That's unusual. I mean, that was recent?
It was a few months ago. Yeah.
It only occurred that time. It hasn't been re-happening.
No.
Is mansion haunted?
Have you been talking to Tomas? Like, no, man. I don't really know. You see, he gets kind of like, he starts scratching his head like, yeah, I don't really know anything about that.
What was that name you just mentioned?
One of the workers.
One of the workers, yeah. Tomas.
Okay. Then I will pleasantries to him. I'm just trying to sneak away.
Imagine Lexi actually says that. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia. Pleasantries to him. Okay. All right. You give him pleasantries. Done. No problem.
Yes, I think I've seen enough. We'll exchange contact.
Okay. All right. Oh my God, Lon. Okay, you exchange contact information with him, and he's like, "Why are we exchanging contact information?" Okay. I'm sure if you want anything, you should talk to. If you want to know anything else, just go ahead and talk to Eddie. He'll set you up. No problem.
And I'm gonna sneak away and see if I can find these workers that are like on break or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could wander around. That's fine. Yeah, I guess just okay. I mean, holler if you need anything. Just be careful. Try not to get in anyone's way or anything like that. It's Friday afternoon. I mean, some of us are gonna come in tomorrow, but like for the most part, there's gonna be folks cutting out early here and there. But yeah. So, are you looking for anybody in particular? Or are you just kind of like asking around? Or are you just going to go up to the first person you see? Give me some direction, Long.
Yeah, whoever's Tomas, he said he was working this room, or the interesting guy that.
Well, you mentioned
this is haunted.
You said that the place is haunted, and he just said, "What do you think I am, Tomas?" Like you've been talking to Tomas or something like that, and then he kind of laughed it off.
I'm gonna find that dude.
All right. Okay. You've looked over the files. So I'm going to say that you're a DEA agent. You're a professional. So you've looked over the files. You probably know what people look like. And eventually, as you're kind of looking around, poking in here and there, you see a couple people look up at you, kind of give you a dirty look and like, hey, what do you want? You get some New York welcomes. Eventually, you do find a young man, probably mid-20s, one of the younger folks that you've seen that matches the description, the photo that you had on file for Tomas Gomez. And you can see that he's doing his work. He's what looks like he's just kind of doing some cuts and stuff outside and everything. And he kind of comes inside here and there, kind of delivers things, has a couple conversations here and there. But yeah, you see him. What do you say when you approach him?
Hey, Tomas. I was told about you, that you worked on the Unit 35.
He just kind of, who are you? I'm sorry.
I'm a potential buyer. My bad. I'm Alexi.
I mean, a lot of folks worked on 35. A lot of us did. Why you were interested in that one?
Yeah, I heard some weird things were happening in there, and it got me curious.
Oh, and your human int is kind of going off as he's kind of like looking around a little nervous here and there. No, everything's fine.
Oh.
No, it's great. No problems. No, I mean, everything's perfect. Like everything's, brand new.
Oh,
and-
you can skip the pleasantries. You don't have to if you're uncomfortable about it, but no, the sound of
but you
haunted
gave the other guy pleasantries, and now I skip them. I don't understand.
No, the idea of it being
Pleasantries for all.
Pleasantries, except for Tomas. Skipping it for him. Okay. He's walk me through how you're going to try to loosen him up to get him to talk to you, and then let's do like a roll or something. So what is it you say other than let's skip the pleasantries guy?
Yeah.
I'm a banker buyer. What do you do?
I'll
Rich,
ask
trust
him
me.
that if he's like being kept from talking about it, kind of idea. And
No. I just, nope. Everything's fine. And he's kind of looking around here and there, and you have a very high human.
yeah,
You've interrogated folks before. Like you can tell he's extremely nervous. He's feeling a little bit. Yeah, this isn't. He's kind of looking around every now and then. A couple folks, kind of wave at him here and there, and he waves back. A couple people are leaving a little early or something like that, and he's just like, you sure you don't want to talk to Mr. Eddie? He's in charge." And he just looks really nervous. So again, walk me along. Give me what does Luca? You don't have to act it out. What does Luca do to try to get information out of him?
what do I do?
So Ashley threw in chat that Lisa looked up last time that there were like references to it being like the baby killer house. So like there
Yeah.
are like rumors that are like not that hard to find out about the house. If you wanted to go that route, that like it has a reputation.
Or just slap him around a bit.
And you believe in that kind of stuff and you want to know, maybe.
Okay. Then I'll go with the route of I've been looking in the webs and got rumors of this place. See if that gets him interested.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna roll a persuasion test. Damn it! Like,
All right.
give persuasion. I will give you plus 20. Dear God.
My long quotes today,
55.
Liv. Going.
Hey, that gives me crit. Wait, there's crit success in this, right?
There's
55?
crit success and crit fail. Yeah, it's doubles. Yeah.
55 under 70 is crit success.
Okay.
Nice.
And you see, he gets his eyes. This place has bad energy, man. Like it's not. I mean, not the whole place. Like some of the place, but like, I don't know anything about like that. But like, oh, man, there's some weird things that happen around here from time to time. I mean, everyone hears some weird things from time to time, like voices, like after hours, like in the dark and everything. And like this one time, like someone, someone was like talking to me like in Portuguese, and he starts talking in Portuguese for a minute, and then he realizes that you don't know Portuguese, and he's just like, no one else here speaks Portuguese, and like someone was like talking to me in Portuguese, because like you can tell, like
Is it a man, a woman?
I don't know. I don't really know. It was like a soft voice. It was kind of muffled. Like I couldn't find, who said it, but it was from 35. And then like, man, I mean, there's some other things that have happened, I just don't like the feeling I get when I go in there. You know, you ever like walk into a place and you just kind of know it doesn't feel great. Like,
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I talked to my mother. She's I mean, she knows about these things, you know, like, you know, you're just gonna call it voodoo, I know, but that's fine. We'll just put it out there. But like, she told me like there's like a spirit here, you know, like she calls it exu, like that. She thinks it's haunted. She thinks this place is haunted, and like she thinks that the voices I heard were probably it, you know, and like, you know, she told me to do some things, and I'm gonna tell you something, but you're not gonna like tell me. Like, don't tell Eddie. Don't tell Eddie.
Oh, no.
This.
Of course, this is between you and me.
Promise? Okay, so like she gave me like this thing, this little like totem thing, like this offering thing, and it's gonna sound bad, and I understand, but it's like that's how it is, man. It's candomblé, you know. It's basically she got a pigeon. She cut off its head and she kind of like wrapped it up in cowrie shells, and like I put it on the windsill after hours and stuff. Like, you know, it's about a month ago or whatever. But then like Eddie discovered it, Mr. Bloomfeld. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to call him Eddie, and from other people. And then like he got really mad because he thought it was like, you know, one of them kids that have been screwing up the place. He keeps thinking it's kids that are kind of ruining everything, but my mother and I, and he's just kind of like leaning closer and closer to you, being really, really like kind of whispering, but he's extremely excited. But anyhow, like I don't like he wanted to know who did it, and then like no one said anything, and then like so now they think it's just the kids or something, and it's not me. So I don't want to say anything. So don't say anything. Don't say it was me, because then he's gonna get mad at me for doing it. But then he's gonna get mad at me for not saying anything. But man, this place is messed up. I'm not the only one. I've heard, you know, other people, weird stuff. You know, I'm not the only one who's heard the voices too. People.
Is it only at night?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the only time you know, because like I'm usually one of the last to leave because I do the cleanup work and everything, and then like I make sure the security system's on and everything, and I lock everything up. So sometimes I'm here by myself and I hear the voices, and sometimes I'm here with a couple others and stuff. But we never find out where the voices are coming from, you know.
I think you could take me here when no one's working on a night and let me hear them, possibly.
Man, I mean, I don't know, like that. I worry, you know, I don't want, like, I really need this job, and I don't really want Eddie to get mad at me, and like, if I bring someone here that's not supposed to be here, and if like you're supposed to be a buyer and everything, so if you don't buy, then it's my fault, and then like it comes back on me. You know what I'm saying?
Not completely understandable, but
but like, you know, it's not like it's hard to get in here. I mean, like the kids get in here all the time and stuff. So like, oh, and like the organ music, man. Like I could have sworn it. Like I keep hearing, you can hear it. Like it's like I thought someone like left their radio on, and so I'm like wandering around. I'm looking, and there wasn't a radio on, you know. And I thought maybe it was one of those folks outside, you know, like after hours, after Eddie leaves, if we kind of close down, some of the neighborhood folks come around and they kind of poke around, you know, in the dumpster and stuff. I don't really care. Like they're looking for this salvage, whatever, you know, what it might be. I thought it was maybe one of them, you know. I thought it was maybe, you know, Doobie or something like that. But like, no, it wasn't. And it was just like organ music, you know. And it was like
organ.
And he starts,
there used to be one here.
I mean, I don't know. Was it like a condemned place when we took it over? When I got here, you know.
You made a lot to go off of. Quite interested. Might
just
keep it on the down low. This never happened between us.
Okay. All right. So just be careful, you know, like, and if you happen to come here at night, it's not because I showed you how to get in. It's just you happen to come here at night. It's a total coincidence, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll let him go.
Okay. And so he wanders off. Let's check in again. Then from there, we'll go over to Maggie and Declan. Maggie and Declan, you were at the other house for a while. You looked around. You looked in the Cohen house, the bedroom. You looked out back, and you left. Did you come up with an idea of where you guys wanted to head next?
I'd like to go to the second child, the Atlantic Avenue Street Market. But if Maggie wants to go somewhere else, that's fine.
I mean, I do think that'd be a good idea, but did we want to check into the babysitting couple?
We could. They said they were out of town. I feel like a more solid connection between the kids would be more important. Unless you think that couple would be associated with all three kids.
Well, probably not. Let's just take a walk by their house. Just see if we see anything.
Okay. And while we're doing that, Declan will do something he's never done before. He kind of had a bit of a adrenaline rush from lying to the mom and saying he was a private investigator, and getting to pretend and like investigate was pretty fun for him. So he's going to call Tabitha Ryan, his book agent, and cancel his signing for the afternoon so that he can keep investigating.
So do you call or do you text?
I would call.
Okay. Hey there, Decky. What's going on?
Yeah, Tabitha.
You know, you got to be in Astoria in like an hour, right?
I know. That's why I'm calling.
They're really looking forward
cancel.
to it, but I hear it's like a really big crowd. They already got people waiting in the store right now. They're really excited.
I'm sorry, we got to cancel. I am incredibly sick.
I'm sorry,
it must have
I
been
can't really
something
hear
from...
you breaking it up. What'd you say about Hansel?
We have to cancel the signing.
I'm sorry. Did you just say we have to cancel the signing?
I did, yes. I can't make it. You know me. I would do anything to be there, but I am just incredibly sick. I've never missed a signing, so that tells you how bad it is.
You know, I had to pull strings to get you into Astoria Bookshop. You know, I had to pull strings. I had to... You don't even want to know what I had to do. And you're going to cancel on me?
We're going to have to reschedule, if anything.
Like, you could just sign. You don't have to read.
I would be throwing up on the books. It would be a whole thing. The bad press would be worse than any good press we would get from it.
No, that's not true. That's not how press works for this. If they write about you throwing up on your own books in the New York Times this weekend, guess what that means, sweetheart? It means they wrote about your book in the New York Times this weekend. Okay,
well,
no
one
one
be the
reads
first
the
time
articles.
they wrote about my book in the New York Times, and I would rather not have my picture like that. I'm too sick to go. It's just going to have to be what it is.
You don't sound sick.
Well, it's a stomach thing. It's not a throat thing.
You know, you're not like a kindergartner. You know, you're a grown-up. You suck it up, and you do your job.
You think I wouldn't if I could? I've never missed a signing.
Listen, you were a travesty on Regis and Kelly yesterday, and now you're canceling a book signing. Are you kidding? Are you not going to go out for drinks tonight either?
Of course I can't go out for drinks. I'm sick.
It's the publisher. The publisher is hosting a... Declan.
Tell you what, I'll go to sleep right now, and I'll try to feel better by the signing, so we'll see. Maybe if I just throw up a few more times.
Signing's
I think
in
it
an
was
hour.
bad breakfast. Not the signing, the drinks. You see, I'm sick. I can't think straight.
Oh my God, Declan, you're killing me. Okay, fine. Go eat some crackers and drink some ginger ale and rub your tum-tum or something. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, I already cut down for room service for crackers, so we'll see.
Room service? I can hear the street outside, you...
I have the window open. I needed fresh air. I'm feeling sick.
The window open? You're in a hotel in New York. You can't open the windows. You need to work on your lying.
The window's open. Why you jump straight to lying? I've never lied to you. The window's open.
You've never lied to me. You've never lied to me. I don't think you've made it through a single conversation with me without lying to me.
I can't make it to the signing. Can you call them to cancel? I don't want to
Yes.
just no-show.
I said I will call in to cancel because you've got a tummy ache. Okay.
You're a wonderful agent. I am so lucky to have you. I have to go now.
You're right, you are. And you click the phone as you hear, like, for not for long. Click. Okay. Okay.
I feel like Maggie was like trying to stand a little like you do when somebody's on the phone, you kind of stand a little bit away. But she just had that voice that like if Declan happened to look in Maggie's direction, you just get the like wince every so often when she would just get that kind of just like pitch to her voice.
You can totally hear it too.
Just pull it away from my ear every now and then just because it's
All
so
I have to
high-pitched.
do for Tabitha is write down one of my aunt's names, and I will absolutely know her voice from now on. You know who it is too, Melissa.
Sure thing.
Okay. It's great. It's great. Okay. All right. So you're going to go next door. You're going to talk to Mark.
We're just going to look at the house because the mom said that they were out of town. So we're just going to take a peek at the house.
Okay. I mean, looking around.
They were out of town during the disappearance, right?
Yeah. They were out of town during this. They were in the city. So they basically were doing like a show, like they're a date, like show day or something. They do like a matinee. So yeah, you look around the house. It's the same basic house that you can see that all of them are kind of similar, but this one is in far better condition. You can tell that the lawn is kind of well kept. The gate is a little bit, isn't kind of bent or crooked here and there. You can tell like there's like they both take the time to do a little gardening. You can see there's some flowers and blooms here and there, and like these little planters and such. It definitely looks like they've been taking care of the home a little bit more. What are you looking for?
So Maggie is sort of hoping that they're a little bit of an older couple that might keep an eye on things so that if we happen to just sort of be nosing around that they might happen to come out and start up a conversation because she kind of wanted to chat with them and Declan wanted to move on. So she's just going to kind of nose around and just kind of look like she's trying to look in the window and just looking to see if there's anything like lodged in the door and kind of like being nosy.
And I wouldn't do anything to hinder it either. I would be happy to wait.
Maggie, roll a luck test.
Sure thing.
Yeah, it's just 50-50, basically. It's on your sheet, or just roll a D100. 1 to 50 is a pass.
Oh, damn. I rolled an 89. Can I? Oh, no, you can't do anything.
Nope,
with
not for luck. Not for luck, not for Sam.
No.
And there's no
Damn.
rerolls in the game. We just do the plus 10, plus 20 value and stuff. Okay, so door cracks open, and you see a man probably in his 60s, kind of gray going white hair. You can see he's got a beard, like a kind of a thin beard as well. He's like, "Can I help you, woman?"
Yes. So sorry to bother you. My partner and I here.
No, there's no solicited in this neighborhood.
No. We were just talking to Mrs. Cohen. She'll kind of drop her voice a little bit.
Barbie, there's more than vultures out here. Enough of you, okay? We had enough of you people, you vampires coming in, asking questions. She's lost a child. Enough, okay? Enough. You've wrote your stories, okay? You got your sensationalism.
No.
Get your back page. You sold your papers. You've done your job. Leave her alone now, okay?
I can tell you're
Bobby,
very
call
good
the
neighbors.
police.
We're private investigators. We were hired by another family to look into their child disappearing. We're just trying to see if there's any connection. We're not reporters.
Roll a persuasion test. You do not get any kind of plus 20 or something like that with Declan because you did fail, and his initial impression of you is unfavorable.
Sure. But on this, I could take some of our generous audience bits to help me with this. Yes. So I'm going to take 2 of them to make this a 60. So I'm a little bit better. And roll a 45. 45 under 60.
So you're investigating another, like in the neighborhood?
Within
Another
Brooklyn.
family?
Yeah. Yes.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn's fairly large. Like,
I
and
know,
you have
it's
like
not
your Texas, like a
quite-
Texan accent, right? Like, isn't that what Maggie has?
When it's slight, like she tries not to
When
overdo
Melissa
it.
remembers her characters from Texas.
She has specifically worked to minimize it over the years. Like in the work that she does, she doesn't kind of let it kind of overdo. So it's a little bit there.
Listen, very large. It's a borough. There's lots of kids. I'm sure. We did some research for Liz, but I'm sure there's a lot of kids that have gone missing. So, I mean, the cops didn't think that it was connected. They didn't think it was some sort of serial abductor or something. If that was what you're thinking, like this. I mean, you spoke with the police. I assume you spoke. You're licensed, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So, I mean, what do you want from us?
Just, we kind of, got the basics from Sandy's mom. We just, if there were any other details of any, I don't know, maybe like work trucks in the area.
No, nothing out of the ordinary. There's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, that's what we said. There were no ice cream trucks, here at the time. There were no work trucks. There were no strangely tinted Suburbans or Yukons or something. There's nothing like that. No, there's no slow moving, sedan or some, Lincoln Town car moving down. There's nothing like that. That's what makes it so strange. There was nothing like that. They think it's the father, and listen, he's a deadbeat, and I hope he rots in prison someday, but I don't think he took Sandy. He couldn't give a shit about Sandy. I was more of a father to Sandy than he ever was, and he ever will be.
That's what Elizabeth said.
So,
Miss Cohen told us that you were close with Sandra. Would Sandra's personality be the type that if she was frustrated or anything like that, she might run away or go a couple blocks, or maybe she was curious and saw something and walked away?
No, she was more of like a hide and freeze in place kind of kid. She didn't like run away from danger or anything like that. She would just kind of hide. She would just like hide behind something. She used to kind of cover her face, like if she can't see you, then you can't see her or something.
And Miss Cohen also told us that Sandra was interested in a cat around that time. Is there any chance that she would have like followed a cat to a different neighborhood or anything like that?
I mean, the gate is locked. She like it's locked. I made sure it's locked. Like, there's no way she was gonna open it or anything like that. And like, it's keyed and everything. So, I mean, I don't see how. She wasn't great at climbing yet. She would fall on her ass a lot. So she wasn't like, she did love cats though. I definitely saw her with cats more than once, and dogs. She loved any animal really. She would chase after birds that land in the backyard. And,
Miss Cohen made it sound like there was a new cat specifically around that time. Have you seen it before? Would it be like, if it is a serial abducter, maybe they lure him with a pet? Have you seen that cat since?
I read about that once. I did. I read an article in, God, what was the publication? Was it the USA? I think it was in the USA Today about that. Anyhow, a specific cat? No, I can't think of one. Not really. No, I'm sorry. Like, we don't have any pets ourselves. I know Robbie down the street's got a dog. Trying to think who else. Let's see. Willa, she's 2 doors that way. She's got a cat, but it's a fat cat that doesn't really like outside. It stinks in her house too. So it's one of them that doesn't like to go outside. But no, I can't think of a specific one. I'm sorry.
And one last question. I'm sorry, my associate may have more, but was there any chance that there was a utility truck or anything like that day that would have entered the sewers? Maybe they open the gate?
No, see, yeah, I know. We've heard about this. They mentioned the sewers things too. They think that she climbed down there maybe and kind of like, how's a 2-year-old gonna move that thing? I can't move that thing without throwing my back out. No, there were no utility things, and you know, some of the cops and everything, they looked into that too, see if there was any kind of maintenance going on in the area, and there wasn't any. You know, no calls, nothing like that. No, no sewer workings within several blocks, like nowhere close to the radius.
If you had to just take a guess, just a stab in the dark, what do you think happened?
I mean, I know statistically that most kids is sort of taken by a relative, but I mean, it wasn't me, it wasn't Barbie, it probably wasn't Emil, you know, so my guess, just, I don't know, opportunity. Someone walked by and just saw an opportunity. It sounds terrible to say that, and just kind of snatched her, you know? Like, it's not, you know, she wasn't afraid of people, but if she got scared, she usually didn't scream. So, you know, I mean, that would be my
I appreciate
guess.
your time. Thank you.
You look familiar.
Maggie, did you have
by
any
the
other
way.
questions?
Have you invested? You look really, I swear I've seen your face somewhere before.
I've done investigations here in Brooklyn before, so you probably saw me on the streets or something.
Maybe
like that.
talk to my wife. Bobby, come say hello to these investigators.
Yeah, and this is I'm crunched for time, so I'm sorry I have to go. But thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
I start like backing away.
Okay, well, thank you. And then you hear like a woman shuffle up, like, "What is it, Mark?" And like she looks out. Oh, more people. Oh, well, he looks for, you know, if, and the door starts shutting. You know, I gotta get new glasses. That looks like that Declan Ellis fella. I saw him on the Regis yesterday. And the door closes.
These would be Regis watchers.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. USA Today, of course.
I am literally going through my whole family, all of my neighbors from when I lived in New York. Like, I'm doing like literally everything. I'm channeling everything.
So we have now discovered a Maggie and Declan dynamic, that Maggie asked a question and then 5 minutes later Declan will come back and ask the exact same question.
Such a man. Such a man. Okay. Let's touch. Okay, so Lisa, you are going to dinner. We'll say we have a scene, 6:00. You're sitting down. Did you find that restaurant?
I did.
Okay.
So it's not in
It's a burger place. It is called McDonald's.
No.
Ronkonkoma. Ronkonkoma.
It's actually in Smithtown, so it's a little bit away.
Yeah.
And it's called
That's where
Insignia. It's a steak and sushi place.
Sure. Smithtown,
It's-
I know extraordinarily well. Yes, even more than Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, it's supposedly ritzy, according to Google.
I mean, it's Long
pricey,
Island. It ain't that
I should
ritzy.
say.
It's Smithtown.
Pricey
Ain't that
works
ritzy.
too.
Okay, so we'll say that the three of you are sitting down. You're having a nice meal. Elizabeth has actually been fairly kind to you for the day. Like the morning anger of you derailing their big time tourist plans and going into the city, going to the Brooklyn Bridge and stuff. Even if for a moment she's just like, you know, this was a nice day. You know, my sister would have liked it. She would have liked it. She would. So, okay. So Jamie, raise your juice. And so she's like, we're going to give a toast. Mm-hmm. And so she kind of gives a toast and she starts getting choked up. My sister, who would have been 50 today, my little baby sister. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. My makeup. God, my makeup's going. Oh, she's in heaven. But we're here and we're going to remember her. And as long as we remember her, then she'll always be with us. And the little part of her will live on. Is that right, Jamie? And Jamie's just looking up and you can see she started to cry at this point, but she's like drinking her juice and trying not to do it. Like the waiter starts moving in the direction of the table, but turns around once he sees her. It's like, oh shit. See ya.
Well, and like before the dinner, Lisa had stepped by and asked if they could bring a dessert, informing them of the situation. So maybe the waiter like leaves and then comes back with like a cookie cake,
Okay.
with Elizabeth's name written on it.
Okay. Sure. And so we'll say he kind of comes back in that point. Oh, thank you very much, young man. Thank you. Oh, this is perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's great. Can I get another red, please? Another. Thank you. And so we go through the dessert, and again, everything's pretty nice. Vivian's had a couple glasses of wine. She's even complimented you. She's like, your mother would be so very proud of you. You're doing better. You got a man in your life now, and your job, you've got a real job. So she would be absolutely thrilled. You're helping people. FEMA. Oh my God, federal government.
When Lisa brings up the FEMA offices in Brooklyn, it would be kind of nice if I was able to get some connections out here closer to you.
Oh, sure. Really? You wanna, you're gonna move up? You're gonna move up here?
Maybe. I have some opportunities to possibly do so.
Really? Oh, well,
yeah.
That would be amazing. The schools here are so much better than down there. There's just so much better. Like Jamie would flourish up here. The culture she would get. Lisa.
Mm-hmm. And after, I do have a meeting after dinner.
I beg your pardon? You have a meeting at the FEMA offices?
No,
Brooklyn.
not at the FEMA offices, but
you have a meeting at 8:00 at night on a Friday on the anniversary of your mother's birthday.
You're
on
right.
your vacation.
Maybe I should just cancel, but
Oh, I think you should cancel, sweetheart. I think you look at your daughter. Look at her. And you look down and she's like puffy-eyed from crying, but she's also like, leave me the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
She's got the juice up to her face. Yep. Like she's trying to be avoidant. Yeah.
And that's when Lisa just says, I hope this doesn't ruin my opportunity to be able to.
Oh, I love it. I'll tell you what.
That's how you do it. Nice job.
Is good stuff. Persuade, dude. That was really good. That was clever.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Take that was just set up plus 20. Persuade plus 20.
So that would put me at 70.
I want to roll. I do want to roll though. Okay. I still want to roll. On this one because there is a chance this blows up in your face.
Crit success, Jeff. 22.
And she kind of okay. Really? At 8 p.m. on a Friday? Like,
I guess it's just they're meeting up for, it's not a formal thing, but I would be meeting the majority of the team.
That's not like going to be your work hours when you're up here. Like, I'm happy to watch Jamie, but like, I do have a social life. So, I mean, like, I put everything on hold for your trip, but like when you move up here, like you can't necessarily expect me.
No,
Friday night, not. A woman has needs.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is they're just trying to, I guess, rush things to see how I fit in with the team. And
okay, you know what? If it's gonna help, and if it means I'm gonna be able to see more of you and more of my grandniece, then okay. What do you say, Jamie? You and Auntie Viv, we're gonna have our own little fun tonight. Mommy's gonna go out working. And she just kind of looks up and then she looks at you and she looks back at Viv and she's like, yeah, okay. And she Jamie looks at you and you can tell her eyebrows kind of raised a bit. And you think maybe your daughter is seeing through your bullshit. Just a little bit. She's like, eyebrow raised a bit.
Which Lisa does kiss her on her forehead and be like, we'll talk about this more, make a decision as a family. And then as they're leaving, Lisa does give Vivian a big hug.
Okay.
and makes a point of saying it's so nice having you. I miss Mom.
I'm just so happy you're here. I'm just so happy you're both here and that we're here to celebrate this. And we had a lovely day and we had a lovely dinner. And let's not ruin it with anything else. I don't want to cry again. You're going to do great. You're going to knock them dead. And you're going to be up here. You're going to be back on the island. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't wait. And we'll fade from that scene. Okay, and we'll kind of cut over. I want to say a quick thank you to Ticking Time Bob G. Thank you so much for the raid, playing some Delta Green, getting near the end. But thank you for tonight. But thank you so much for the raid. I'm seeing a lot of folks in the chat. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't gone and followed them, please go follow them. And if you're new, if you just came over with that raid and you want to follow us, maybe do that too. All right. So where would Lisa go after that meeting? Like, let's. Before we finish up, let's try to get everyone back on the same page. And we'll say it's late afternoon, early evening. It's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. In that window, we don't have to be too perfect with it. Last we saw Luca, he was wandering around the site, the construction site. Maggie and Declan had gone and kind of investigated one of the neighborhoods. And then Lisa just finished up with her dinner at like 7 o'clock or so with her aunt. So like, where would everyone be starting to go at this point? What's the plan for the next this late afternoon, evening block of time?
Lisa would want to meet up with Luca to do the nighttime investigation.
Okay. All right.
And if Declan wanted to check out one of the other houses, then maybe we could do the Strauk abduction, which is pretty close to the.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just want to check out at least two of the kids to try and find a connection, maybe, or any similarities.
Okay. All right. And then Luca, you're going to hang out at the construction site. Are you going to like leave and come back?
Yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to just stay here. I'll wait for.
I'm just going to post up right here. You guys are fine. Have a good weekend.
It won't bother you if I'm here for like 8 or 9 hours, right?
It's cool, right? I know there's no plumbing yet, but I'll shit in the corner. It'll be fine.
You got a bucket?
Okay. All right, so then we'll say that it's after, it's around sunset. We'll check in with Declan and Maggie here. You're going to the Strauk site, is that correct? Is that what I heard you say, Melissa?
Yes.
All right. So Strauk, that should have been the first. That was the earliest disappearance. Mm-hmm. So you've gone to the later disappearance. This one's in March. So you've been through the files, so you kind of know all the basic details. You know, so 7-month-old, very young. And you know that the story for this one, the one that kind of stood out, was that she was sleeping in a child carrier on a bed on a 3rd floor, 1-bedroom apartment that you two are currently in the car or on the street looking up at right now. It's Windsor Terrace neighborhood of Brooklyn. You know that the story was that the mother, Emily, very young, 22, she was folding clothes in the living room, but she had sight of the bed through the doorway, and that there was a slamming of the door at some point, and it just slammed shut. And before she could get to the door, the lock turned. Like, you can hear the lock turn. And then when she finally got inside, the baby was gone and there were bones left. And so that was sort of like the big story. And this one also had like the estranged mother-in-law was kind of like the suspect, and that she was like in Manhattan psychiatric. So that's where you guys are at right now. It's a 3rd floor, 1-bedroom apartment, Windsor Terrace. It wasn't like a home with a yard. You see the apartment building in front of you. What's the plan for the two of you?
Same technique?
Go for it.
All right.
We'll say you guys hang out, linger outside, wait for someone to leave, catch the door before it closes, go inside, go up to the 3rd floor, knock on the door, and you can see shortly thereafter, door opens up. It's got the chain, and you see a woman, young woman, but much like you saw with Elizabeth Cohen, there's a woman who has not slept much. It looks like you've caught her. She's got what looks like a work uniform on. Like it looks like she might be like a server or a bartender or something like that. And she looks out at you. What is it? Can I help you?
Yes, apologies for intruding here. My name is Mike King. This is my associate, Miss Aggie. We are private investigators. We're investigating the disappearance of a young child, and we're going around to other recent cases and just trying to see if there might be a connection. If it's possible, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You think it's related to my Katie?
I can't say for sure, but there's a chance, and obviously we'd like to help you if we can.
Mr. King, was it? Miss Aggie?
Yes.
You're not the first person to come by promising or saying this or that. Do you mean it? Do you really think it's connected? Because
We're not looking for money. We've already been paid by a different family, so we're not looking to hit you up.
I don't want to give you
for-
false hope either. I know it's hard to reopen that wound, but even if there is a clue that,
all right,
even if we
okay.
can't find your child,
I got it. I understand. Enough with the 1 second. She closes the door. You hear the chain and hook, and she pulls it back up. Come on in. Just about to
Thank
eat.
you. I apologize for the intrusion.
It's fine. It's been a very hard couple of months.
I can't even imagine. Would you mind showing us the room where she disappeared from?
Yeah. It's this way. And you move through, very messy. You can tell she just hasn't been cleaning up. And she even sees you, your eyes kind of move around. Sorry for the mess. My husband is overseas. Katie's not around. Janice is in the facility. It's just me. So, whatever.
How long
Sorry,
is
it's been a rough day. Did something happen in particular today?
No, it's just work.
Oh.
It's just work. Now I have to go to the other job here in a little while.
Yeah.
Whatever.
How long has your husband been deployed for?
9 months, 10 months.
So would you mind just walking us through what happened here? As we're looking at the room, would you just...
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I was here, and she kind of points to where the living room is. You can see that there's a couch. The couch very clearly has line of sight into the bedroom. She points. I was right here. I was sitting on the couch. I was folding. We'd come back from the laundromat. I was folding everything right here, and I could see just fine. And she was sleeping. I had just checked on her 10 minutes prior to that. She was sleeping. And then all of a sudden, the door slammed. And it nearly gave me a heart attack. But, winds being what they are or whatever. But so I rushed over, but I take 2 steps and I hear the lock turn. Now, she's 7 months old. She cannot turn locks. We're on the 3rd floor. And so I start getting, really nervous. We have a fire escape. And what's going on? What's happening? And so I start, banging down the door. I have some tools. And I took a pry bar and I split it. And she kind of points to the door. And you can see where the door jamb has been split and repaired since then. And then she's kind of walking inside. And then I came in here and the carrier was on the floor. It was turned over. And there were bones on the bed. I thought they were Katie's for a minute. And I don't know, like the forensics, they said it wasn't. The bones were too old. They were split and they didn't even have all of the parts, and their marrow was missing or something. And,
if I could ask about that, were they like human?
Yeah, they were human. They weren't Katie though. No one knows.
They were small enough that they could be confused for her.
I mean, there weren't enough. So, I mean, but when you're panicking, you're panicking. But
No,
it wasn't a
no,
full, like it wasn't like a full body. It was just partial. It was just bone, like 3 bones. But whatever. So, and that's it.
And you said there's a fire escape in this room?
It's right over here. And so she leads you over to the window, opens it up. There it is.
When you were able to get into this room, was the window locked?
No, it was, it was a nice day. Springtime. So, no, I didn't lock the window. I guess I'm a bad mother.
No judgment in the question. We're investigators. Sometimes we ask questions. It's just to ask the question. We're not trying to imply.
It's fine. No, it's
Sorry.
fine because I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Bad mother. I get it. It's fine.
No.
But no. I
actually
I can't remember if the window was open. Okay, I don't remember. It might have been. It might not have been. I don't remember. It was not. It was like 6 o'clock. It was nice out. I remember springtime in New York. I probably had the window open. I don't know.
We'd heard. We had heard something, and it was sort of an odd something about like raccoon prints on the fire escape or some such.
Yeah, I mean, there was shit on the fire escape. It was shit. And then there were
I see.
paw prints in it or whatever.
Not to be indelicate, but I'm assuming they assumed that the feces were raccoon feces.
I don't know if they tested it or not. I don't know how you test that, but it was raccoon prints though. So,
had you seen any stray or feral animals recently?
I mean, there's stray cats and dogs and birds, and I don't think I've ever seen a raccoon, but I mean, there might be.
Ever have a cat just enter the house when the window's open or anything like that?
No. Do you think a cat stole my child, Mr. King?
No. I apologize. They're strange questions, but they might relate to the other case, so I have to ask them.
You think a cat stole somebody else's child?
I think it's possible that someone has a cat and they were using them to lure children.
She was 7 months old. She was asleep in a carrier.
We're just trying to look for similarities. I do apologize for some of our questions.
Is there anything else that I can do for you guys? Because I really would like to take a shower before I go out. So my next shift.
Would you mind real quick if I could just kind of just stick my head out the fire escape?
Knock yourself out.
And I want to look for any type of exposed piping or anything.
I would say your search is high enough. You don't see anything. If you're looking anything that looks like sewer piping, like a building like this, it wouldn't kind of come out the fire escape and go down the side. It's internal. It would kind of go underneath the building, so it wouldn't really make sense out here. If you see anything, it would be like gutters or something like that. But no.
One more strange question for you. I'm sorry about this. Did you notice any strong smells that day?
I have a 7-month-old. There's strong smells every day.
Nothing unusual.
I mean, no. I mean, it smelled like shit, but I thought that was just Katie.
I do appreciate your time. I'm sorry to
Okay.
again reopen old wounds.
Well, good luck. I hope you're able to find the other person's kid.
We'd like to try and find yours too, if possible. We'll do everything we can.
Well, everyone always wants to do everything they can, but thank you. So she leads you to the door, and she lets you out. We'll cut over then for the last scene here to the construction site where we see Luca and Lisa. We see everyone has left the site. The two of you meet up at some point. We'll presume outside or whatever. What do you two do?
Everyone's cleared at this time. Plan on staying the night.
Is that the plan?
Try to hear or see anything strange. That's what I got from the workers.
So, like, we're ghost hunting?
I don't know what it is, but something weird here.
Okay. You mentioned in your text Unit 35. Is that where we need to start? Did that guy tell you how to deactivate the security system? Do we know where the cameras are?
He told me there's a way in. The kid's sneaking all the time. We could just avoid him.
Okay. This makes Lisa a little nervous, but all right.
The same person who stabbed a guy in the neck.
You know,
The security cameras weren't working. It was a hurricane.
that's true.
So it might have happened that it was let slip in the conversation that some of the upper level apartments, the windows are left open.
Okay.
So you could potentially try to climb up.
Yeah, Lisa's gonna look for or have Luca try and find where the cameras are and where potential blind spots would be.
What's your alertness?
Mine's 20.
Yeah, it's
I have a
not
70.
enough. That's plenty. You would be
That's
able
why
to
I was like, Luca.
identify all of the cameras, and you can kind of avoid them, find blind spots here and there. It's not like the cameras don't cover every single entry point, but they cover a lot, so it does take a little time for you. You do notice as you start looking around that in the back of the building there's an empty lot, very large. There is a very large like dumpster back there, and you do see that there are some people that are active. You can hear people humming here and there, and they're just kind of like almost dumpster diving to a degree, and some people kind of looking around. They don't really seem to pay you any mind. However, when you're sort of moving around a bit and you're looking to see a way in, are you guys together?
Yeah, Lisa would not separate at this point.
Okay. As you're moving around, you said your alertness is 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Luca, you're kind of staring up at underneath one of the E's. There's like a camera sticking out that's shooting down and picking up basically the dumpster and anyone kind of coming from that lot onto the back property of this one. And so you're just kind of moving and you're like kind of waving back here and there and stop, move. Lisa, you hear a voice. You're not entirely sure exactly where it's coming from, but you hear a voice. It's a woman's voice. It's a very familiar voice. As you hear your mother kind of call out to you, "Hey, sweetheart. Why don't you come here? Come inside." And we'll end on that.
Oh,
And we'll pick up there next time.
Goodness.
Okay.
Ooh.
was 50-50 who was going to get it, and then it was going to be Lisa, I think. Okay, cool. Right on.
And which is a very good because it's her mom's birthday today.
Absolutely. All right. A lot of progress done. A lot of, by some of you. Then there's Lisa. Progress on your relationship with Viv, though, so that's great. Right?
I think now I'll have an easier chance of getting out of the house.
Well
Does
played.
Aunt Viv have a pet cat? Because I think she might be the bad guy.
Oh God.
Could be. Never
She's
know.
definitely got some collared men. I don't know if that counts, but probably.
Don't kink shame.
I'm not. Dude,
she has
congrats
needs.
to her. She's killing it.
Yep. Okay, so why don't we do some closing plugs, and then we are getting out of here. I was looking for Chuck. I just noticed that DOK is not up to date, and I just see that internet was down. Okay, so we'll find someone else. Okay, that sucks. All right, so what do we got going on tomorrow? One Ring, come back, hang out. You can see everyone here in that game, and My Trade joins us for that as well. We are going to descend into a dungeon and possibly find out what actually. We're definitely going to find out what happened to Steven's long lost elf. We will. I guarantee. I can guarantee.
We're going to trip over his body 3 steps in.
You're going to trip over Balavan, who tripped over the body, and it's just going to be this comical end where all of you break your neck slipping down a frosty staircase. Okay, yeah, come back tomorrow. Hang out with us for that. Then on Monday. Yeah, I don't know. We're doing something. So we're in like a transition period between some of our campaigns. So we're doing some random one shots and stuff. So we're gonna do. We've been doing a lot of one pagers from Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. We might do another. So come hang out. They've been a blast so far. So we've done the Witch is Dead. We've done Goat Crashers. There's a couple more I'm looking at that I might want to do. Steve, what are we doing on Tuesday?
We have Tuesday off actually. We finished Forbidden Lands. So if you're trying to catch up, go to the YouTube channel and get some Forbidden Lands going. What am I missing on Tuesday?
I was about to get really mad at you and be like, hey, that's not in your contract. You're not supposed to skip. But then you plugged the YouTube. So I'm like, damn it. Now I can't get mad at it. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, so go to the YouTube, watch the final episode. We will be back on the 19th, though, for Talk Like a Pirate Day. Jeff will be running a pirate one-shot there. Some pirate board. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then our new campaign is starting.
Play or something and talking like a pirate all day. Everyone. It's a requirement for being on the stream.
I'm going to have to start practicing to keep up with that.
I didn't practice. That was just impromptu. Hopefully that was decent.
Okay. Just brag about it.
I'm just saying.
Some of us.
Yeah. But the 26th, the week after that, we will be starting a new campaign, Marvel Multiverse. And I will be running that again, and we'll keep the same crew, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Some people are really excited.
We have some X-Men fans in the group, and it's going to be great for that. But we're also doing our own Earth on Marvel. We're going to do Earth, LOL, Lolly, and then we'll have our own canon there.
Damn, I was ready to be all mean and mad, and then you're doing all these things, and it's just like, all right. Okay. Then what else we got? Thursday. See, that's the thing. Thursday would normally be Die, and we had a hell of a episode last night. Yeah. But Evan's out of town next week, so I think we're gonna do a one shot. I might see if I can talk Jeremy into running some goblins for us. I was starting to think about that. I'm like, that'd be perfect. So I might see if he'd be willing to do that. Otherwise, I'll throw something random together. And then next Friday we're back to Conan. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with more Deltagreen. We're going to be continuing this as well. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube page, as Steven has mentioned, in addition to the wonderful Forbidden Lands, there's a bunch of other games. So you can see everything from the past couple of years that we've been doing. For those of you who rated tonight, thank you so much for hanging out with us and coming over. Those of you that have been watching the channel, go follow those people because they're very kind for doing so. And if you're still here and you're still listening to me talk and you haven't followed the channel, please do so. It's how I define my self-worth as a human being. So it really makes me feel better. Melissa knows that I'm only half joking with that. I'm only half joking. I'm only half. But we're going to raid someone. Normally I would be raiding Chuck at this point, but Chuck's not up. So we're going to raid Lost Tribes Gaming. So follow the raid. We'll catch y'all later. Have a good night. And bye-bye. Oh, I'm sorry.
See
No.
ya.
Guys. Well,
What's the phrase? What are we using now? What is it?
Pleasantries
Pleasantries
exchanged.
to all.
pleasantries to all.